No kings, no ice!
Cuba and Venezuela.
Alright folks, I just made it to No Kings in New York City. As you can hear, it's very loud, and as you can see, it's very large. I've been to all...
Here comes the king! This memorial is mine now! You're all fired!
I gave you a start. I was only believing you.
Look at these losers! You're fired! Best people.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Happy Saturday night. What's up, everyone? Thank you for being here. Hold on one second. The light is messed up. Damn it. Damn it. Hold on. All right. That's better. A little bit warmer. A little bit warmer. Give me a little warmer look there, right? Oh. Much better. Much better. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Great to see you. Happy Saturday night. I'm Jim. I'm here to tell you some news. Let's see who's here tonight. Talk to everybody. Why is everything seems off tonight? I don't know what's going on here. Man, I seem befuddled. I had a problem. That's why I was a little late starting the show. Had a slight problem. All my tabs reset. I had to try doing it. That's why the intro went long. What? Why is it saying I'm having trouble streaming to Instagram? It's on Instagram right now. What are you saying? Okay. I guess I have to do this, and then do this, and then do this. Hold on. Shit, this is going to take a second. I hope that works. Alrighty. Having some kind of a weird... We're having trouble. If it ended on Instagram, then it's expected. If not, and this continues, try creating a new Instagram stream. Okay, I don't know. It looks to me like it's on Instagram right now, so... Oh, well. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to shut Instagram off. I don't care. Fuck them. Sorry. I know it's a lot of swears in the first few minutes of the show, but I'm having issues. Something keeps jacking me around. Anyway, let's see who's here tonight. Oh, my God. It says SB Farmer's here. What's up? Wait, what? I don't know. Do we get a movie review for the Hail Mary? Going to see it tomorrow? I don't know. Haven't had a chance to see anything. And this is about how does time dilation work? It makes us all astral objects. Okay. Thanks for being here. Jay Schwartz, what's up, buddy? Great to see you. Missy Sneaky Sean. Brian Ogden's here. Awesome. Great to see you. Says, anyone wants my Jeep for a reliable car, talk to me. 10,000 is a lot of parts. Snarf, great to see you. Tom Bravo, evening. What's up? Great to see you. Yes. The other Gygax, what's up, Dan? Great to see you. Delay is obvious. You too. Iowa Backyard Camp says, have a great evening. Hit the like button. Yes, definitely. Delay is obvious. Good. Jim must be warming up the vacuum tubes in his computer. I wish I had a vacuum tube computer. Oh my God. You know how expensive those, how good those are? I mean, vacuum tubes amplifiers for stereo, you get the best sound of that. Vacuum tube sound. Best sound. They call it valves. Terry's here too. What's up? Great to see you. None of your business evening. And I got a 5 here from Brian Ogden. Thank you so much, Brian Ogden. I didn't even get to tell you guys about this or anything yet. Thank you so much. And then another 5. He says, I'll just throw this in there. Thank you. So that means that we are now just $90 away from adding the first extra hour to the show and only $40 away from Bellevision. So how the show works is the show goes about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, somewhere between there, sometimes longer, we'll see. But we add, for every $100 in total that comes in across all platforms, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, Cash App, PayPal, Ko-fi, whatever you want to call it, and Super Tips, along with Kick and Twitch memberships, stuff like that, Locals coins, and memberships on YouTube and Rumble, and gifted memberships on YouTube and Rumble. We add it all up, and we hit 100. We add an extra hour to the show. And then as an added bonus, what I like to do is when we get to 50, we activate Bellevision for the evening. All right, there's Bella, right there. That's when we hit 50. But if somebody is generous enough to give a single individual donation of $25 or greater, we activate Bellevision automatically for the evening. And that could be like a $25 Cash App or PayPal, which always prefer those because they take the least amount of cut out of it. And it could also be gifted memberships. Because say you want to gift 5 memberships on YouTube or Rumble, that's automatically Bellevision for the evening. But thank you so much. I will correct the banner right now to say that we are 90 away from the first additional hour to the show and 40 away from Bellevision. Well, thank you very much, Brian Ogden. Oh, wait. Then we got, I got a whole bunch of missed stuff here. Ank's here. What's up, Ank? Great to see you. Miss Hacker, great to see you. Thanks for being here. Michelle, awesome to see you here. Great intro. I know. I thought it was good. Catherine K, awesome to see you. Fletcher Boy says AC-130 is departing. RAF Lackenhurst. Bad news for the RGC. Man, I love this. Well, now they're called what are they called now? The Spectres? Or they used to be called Spookies or Spectres. Do they have a different name now? I don't know, but those things are just bad to the bone, man. bad to the bone. They're awesome. Whittick Mike's here too. Great to see you. Absent Mind is here. What's up? Great to see you. Jonathan Marcus, great to see you. And then, oh, look at this. America First. I always support Jim. He's a good man. Thank you so much. With that means we are now just $85 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and just $35 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. Renee's here. What's up, Renee? Great to see you. I know you said you missed me last night because it was so early, but I appreciate you watching it on the replay. That's always good. And then that's nice. And then Just on Soulless Ginger's here. Hey, how you doing? Great to see you. Brian Ice says Trumpinator. Yes. Yes. Netcat Media. Hey, what's up? Great to see you. Kelly KB. Hi. Great to see you tonight. What's up, Genome Editor? Hey, yo, got to take care of some stuff. Hopefully catch your tail end and catch up tomorrow. Well, thanks. You proud of your boy. That's awesome. I hope you enjoyed those two things on the markers for the Alzheimer's and the schizophrenia. I mean, I would love to have a professional's opinion sometimes. If you would ever want to talk about it, that would be great. Jay Schwalbach. Hey, what's up, buddy? Nice to see you. Jason Fisher says, happy Saturday. Is it true the Houthis are getting involved? The Houthis did launch something towards Israel. I don't know, but they're not come on. It's not that serious. And then, oh, look at this. America First with another one for the hell of it. Thank you. Wow. So with that means we are now 80 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and just 30 away from adding Bellavision. Thank you so much for all the generous donations. I really do appreciate it. And then, and then Brian Ogden for another 5 says, because we love fun. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means we're now 75 away from the first additional hour and 25 away from Bellavision. And I'll just point out that technically Brian Ogden is only $10 away from buying Bellavision himself. Spammed alert. What does that mean? Spammer. This person. Oh, well, at Zecco. Well, it's maybe, I don't know, is that guy telling us who the song was? Maybe? I don't know. Beautiful Cat, what's up? Great to see you. Hello, family. Bring on Bella. We're definitely trying to raise money for Bella. Well, thank you. Muffin Rando's here. Hey, what's up, buddy? Great to see you. What the F? Hey, everyone. Great to see you. Yes, AC-130s are going to be patrolling the straight, not the right profile for Karg. Well, they'll do whatever they're the right profile for. They'll be good. And Iowa Backyard Camp says towards the goal, and everyone hit the like. Thank you. Thank you. And then that means we are now 70 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and only 20 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. People are all so generous. It's great. And then, Ank. There you go. Ank gives 5 Jim Tells You memberships. Thank you so much, Ank. Let's see who got those memberships. Netcat Media, D's 23, Lou Landry 14, B Celestial, and Janai 5074. All received gifted memberships from Ank. Thank you so much. And with that, activates Bellavision for the evening, and that makes us now just $40 away. Just $40 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, everybody. So generous. Everyone is so generous. I am eternally grateful. Wow. Yes, nice. Jim loves spam donors. Oh, I don't mind spam donors. But spam is great. You know, spam is really great with eggs. You could fry it up. Grind it up and make a salad with it. Yes, let the hounds loose. We are family. Yes. Hope you had a good night just dawn. Yes. Congratulations to the gift receipts. That's right. All right. So let's say, what do you say? We jump into the first story of the evening. Shutdown drags on as the House votes to fully fund DHS after inappropriate Senate deal. What's this? First year I didn't have to file federal taxes. Oh, man, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, I don't know. Ugh. I mean, if you're not filing federal taxes, that means you don't have any money coming in, right? I mean, I don't know. Or I don't know how it works. Are you saying? And then, Amazing Disgrace with another 5 says, I'll probably be passed up before the next hour, but here you go anyway. Thank you. Thank you so much. That means we are now just $35 away, away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. And then it comes with its own key, Spam does. Yes, it does. It's great. And then Kelly KB says, I added a Cash App first time. Make sure I sent it to the correct person. Okay. Yes, it is. This is Kelly. KB. It says $10. Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That means we are now just $25 away from adding the first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. The van is there to hold in the spam. Okay. The can is there to hold in the spam. The cam. Yes, it is. Thank you so much. There's no Fed taxes if you're on disability. I think the no Fed taxes on disability is only the first $25,000. I'm pretty sure because I am on disability. And I still pay taxes and have to file. My Jeep might be in the river though. So you get it, not the YouTube. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. It really does. Cash App and PayPal are the two, like, Super Tips is good too. So is Ko-Fi, I think, and other ones. But, YouTube is, especially if you use an Apple phone and you do YouTube through the Apple phone on the app and give a Super Tip, the person only gets like 40% of that. Just Dawn says, been at Mama's all day taking pictures of furniture, style muffin. It's been exhausting. Saved $59 filing fee, so bought gifts. Well, thank you. That's greatly appreciated. It really is. She says, that's me too. All right, let's see here. So the House is like, that deal sucked, and we're not going to go along with it. The House of Representatives on Friday rejected the Senate deal to reopen the Department of Homeland Security. Yep, that's right. All right. I just lost my train of thought there. The House of Representatives on Friday rejected the Senate's deal to reopen the Department of Homeland Security without border funding, instead voting to fully fund the department until May 22nd. The House passed a continuing resolution to fully fund DHS for 60 days on a mostly party line vote with 3 Democrats defecting to join the Republicans. We're not going to split apart 2 of the most important agencies in the government and leave them hanging like that, House Speaker Mike Johnson told reporters Friday night. We just can't do it. What is going on? Why is my phone blowing up? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Ooh. Hey, Margie, great to see you. Thanks for being here. Yes, God bless the House. Yes, they're doing the Lord's work over there. The Daily Signal depends on support. Okay, so the House's move will indefinitely extend the shutdown. Senators left the Capitol for a 2-week Easter recess after the vote early Friday morning, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has said a bill that doesn't limit ICE funding is dead on arrival in the Senate. Oh, okay. As travelers face multi-hour lines at major U.S. airports, President Trump signed an executive order Friday ensuring that TSA agents will be paid during the now 43-day shutdown. Why does my chair feel broken? Shouldn't be rocking side to side like this. The One Big Beautiful Bill funded ICE and CBP through 2029, but ICE, CBP, Homeland Security investigation support staff are still working without pay. So yeah, anybody that's not a sworn law officer, that's not a sworn officer, it doesn't have police powers, isn't getting paid. Yeah, they hopped out of town like scared rabbits. They can't do their jobs on vacation. Yeah, they suck. They suck. But why, if they're on vacation, why can't Trump make recess appointments? HSI investigates child trafficking and missing children. Nobody's talking about this. No funding for DHS means no funding for HSI. HSI is the agency that investigates child trafficking and missing children. 300 plus children went missing under Biden. Demon rats are abandoning 300 plus missing children again. They're doing it again. Why are they doing it again? Why again? Mike Johnson called the Senate bill passed at 3 a.m. Thursday a joke. The Senate measure would reopen DHS without funding for ICE or Customs and Border Patrol, a deal that the House Republicans say would restore the open border policies of the Biden administration. That's what they want. That's exactly what they want. Yes, Thune. Yes, Richard Wharton. Thune is 100% worthless. Trump told Fox News on Friday that the Senate bill to reopen DHS was inappropriate. Democrats want to let illegals come into the country, criminals, murderers, every kind of criminal you can imagine, Trump said later to reporters. Republicans just don't want to have spent the better part of this year trying to get these criminals out and let the Democrats want to have them come in, and we can't let that happen. Mexicans run the Walmart there. Well, that's anything to undermine Trump. House Republican Conference Chairwoman Lisa McClain encouraged the Senate to come back and at least take a vote. But the House bill faces uncertain future in the Senate. Republicans would need 60 votes to pass a continuing resolution to fund DHS, and Scummer has insisted Democrats will not vote for DHS funding without limits on ICE. We've been clear from day one. Demon Rats will fund critical Homeland Security functions, but we will not give a blank check. So Demon Rats don't think protecting the border and getting illegal aliens out of the country is critical. They don't think it's critical functions. They don't really care. They don't. They want the people all given amnesty. That's what they want, and get to stay in. They need the voters. Yeah, and then give a blank check to Trump's deadly immigration militia. Well, what a jerk off to say something like that. House Republicans are urging senators return from their home states to reopen DHS. Senators must return to Washington immediately, finish the job, and get this bill to President Trump. Representative Mary Miller wrote. Last night, I voted with my House Republican colleagues to fully fund Department of Homeland Security. Senators must return to Washington. By passing a continuing resolution, we ensured that the men and women will work to keep America safe and get paid, and the safety of American people remains a top priority. The Senate needs to swiftly act to pass this clean, continuing resolution to ensure daily border security and ICE operations continue. Wow. Who's the one independent that voted yay? There's an independent in the House? I didn't know there was any independents in the House. Who is it? I didn't know there was any. And we got the same story from K10 News. I didn't know if there would be a video here or something, but it's the same stuff. Same thing from Center Square, but they say defying the Senate, House GOP passes DHA stopgap funding bill. ICE agents are patriots. Yes, they are. Demon Rats are traitors. Jason Fisher says, will we see a clean DHS bill or loaded with pork and other artificial ingredients? Probably. They're probably going to try to pack it full of stuff and do other kind of stuff. I don't know. I mean, there was some weird stuff in the stuff. There was some weird stuff that came from the Senate where there was some weird language in there where it almost seemed like they were stripping money away from ICE out of it. If they had passed full budgets, we would not be in this situation. Republicans have failed again. Yeah, they were supposed to do that. That was they said they were going to do it. They said they were going to pass, actual budgets the right way, like they're supposed to. And for some reason, they just didn't do it. I don't get it. I don't know why. I don't know what the deal is with them, why they can't just do their job. That's their only job. It really is. Congress should have a fixed number of days vacation, and if they take more time off, they should not get paid, definitely. Demon Rats will shut it down every chance they get. Fund for 10 years. Yes, probably should. Kevin Kiley is the independent in the House. California. Oh, that's right. He's the guy who switched to independent because he thinks somehow that he's going to trick people, I guess. I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. Snarf says, I'm headed for prison. I hope not. I don't want you to go to prison. Sorry, but if Trump wants it passed, he needs to remove the other stuff he added and have a straight vote on DHS funding only. I don't know what else they added. I mean, that's just Trump. That they're talking about just funding DHS. That's all it was supposed to be doing. I mean, the other stuff with the SAVE Act and everything the two aren't connected, I don't think. Why can't good government Republicans even pass a budget when they can't even do this? That's why we'll lose the House. Yeah, I mean, they said, they say, elect us, we're going to do this. We're going to do everything's the way it's supposed to be. And then they don't. And then they don't actually, it really seems like they just want to be in a minority so they complain that they don't actually want to get stuff done. That's the way I look at it, the way I'm seeing it. I don't know if anyone else thinks like I do, but that's the way I see it. I think it's sad. I think it's a sad state of affairs. I really do. But yeah, so they're defying them. And then this next story here is interesting. U.S. lawmakers say they'll visit Taiwan before Trump's summit with Xi. So is this just a ploy to make to upset the Chinese because the Chinese think they're just these rogue people, this rogue breakaway, and it upsets the Chinese. So is this just demon rats trying to throw a wrench into Trump's meeting with Xi? I mean, that's possible. It's totally possible, right? I mean, we could believe that, right? That's totally just them trying to be jerks. But let's see. It says a bipartisan group of 4 senators has plans to visit Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea in the coming days on a trip meant to bolster U.S. alliances seen as important to countering China's dominance in Asia. Senator Jean Shaheen will be, well, look at who this is. Look at who the 4 are, all right? And I'm going to say right now that this is a plan to stick it to Trump, to screw him over, because it's Jean Shaheen. It's John Curtis of Utah, the guy that was standing with Adam Schiff saying that he wants amnesty, but it depends on your definition of what amnesty is. And then Tom Tillis of North Carolina. Oh, God, the guy that keeps voting against all Trump stuff. And then, Jackie Rosen, a demon rat from Nevada. So basically 4 Democrats, 2 of them are lying and pretending they're Republicans, because John Curtis was the head of the Salt Lake City Democrat Party until exactly 6 months before he was picked to be the senator by the phony rhino governor of Utah. Look it up. Yeah, remember, China is asshole. Yes, it is. I don't know who this person is spamming in Rumble, but if they continue all of these same exact things in there, we're gonna have to do something about it. And people in Rumble, Logan Act, yes, definitely. Let's see, is that okay? Let me look. We don't allow spamming. I gotta say this. All right. Jean Shaheen of New Hampshire, the top demon rat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, announced a trip Saturday. She'll be joined by Senator John Curtis, a phony Republican, Tom Tillis, another phony Republican, and Jackie Rosen, another demon rat. Their visits to Taipei, Tokyo, and Seoul are coming before Donald Trump's trip to Beijing in May for a rescheduled summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping. The lawmakers' stop in Taiwan could draw scrutiny from China, which opposes such relations and sees them as a challenge to its claim of sovereignty over the self-governing island. Taiwan relies on American backing for its democracy, but recent moves by Trump, such as discussing a potential weapons sale to Taiwan with Xi, have raised questions about the future direction of U.S. policy. Analysts in both China and the United States believe Xi, through the leader-level summit, will try to influence Trump to soften the U.S. stance on Taiwan. Jonathan Marco says, I called my senators this week, talked to one assistant, the other just answer machine, said they'd call back, just BS. Yes. That would be a nice Easter shirt, Jim. Well, yeah, purple, I don't know. I just grab it. I have a stack of shirts. I try to go and as go in order and different ones. And I don't know. This bipartisan delegation demonstrates Congress's commitment to these alliances and partnerships is unwavering and will continue and endure well beyond one administration. Well, whoever doubted that? I mean, in a show of reassurance to the Asian allies, the lawmakers plan to meet with political leaders and defense officials on their trip. We will come for the spammer or liar or evil person, but these accents are beautiful, Jim. Had no idea of skills. I try. Xi Jinping. That's how they say it there. Xi Jinping. Our alliance with Taiwan is one of the most strategically and morally significant partnerships with America has with the Indo-Pacific, Curtis said. I didn't think we had an alliance with Taiwan anymore. I mean, we used to. I thought that Bill Clinton got rid of it. Because prior to Bill Clinton, we actually trained in the Navy. We trained with Taiwanese ships and everything, and Japan and all them stuff. And then, not anymore. And prior to Nixon, in his trip to China, when he opened up China to us, which has been really great. We said that there was 2 Chinas, or actually it was the Republic of China, the ROC. Was Taiwan. It was the Republic of China. It was the actual legitimate government of China. Says, I love Bella just lying there, being all belly and sweet. Yeah, that's what she does. She's a great girl. I like Grape Ape. Yeah, I like Grape Ape. It remains to be seen how Trump's intervention in Venezuela, Iran, and elsewhere could influence other powers such as China and Russia. But there is some concern among lawmakers that the Republican president's action could be seen as giving those countries an opening for their own foreign moves. Well, they could try. They could try. The economic relationship with Taiwan has also come under scrutiny from the Trump administration. The U.S. is reliant on Taiwan for its production of computer chips, which contributed to a trade imbalance of nearly $127 billion during the first 11 months of 2025. I mean, our reliance on Taiwanese chips is becoming a national security issue. We have to be able to, like, what happens if China tries to take Taiwan and just shuts down anything coming out of there? They could basically block it off. You know, what are we going to get? I mean, are we going to get into a war with China over Taiwan? I mean, that's the bottom line. Are we going to do it? Is everyone okay with that? China relies on stealing technology. If they spent that money on research, they would be farther ahead than they are. Yes, that's what they do. Lithium. Yes, lithium. No more chips. That's right. Top of viewers on a streambo. We got the top of viewers on a streambo. Our government knew China and Japan were selling TVs for less than what it cost to make them, breaking up international law, but let them destroy American TV manufacturers anyway. Yes, they did. Zenith, for the longest time, was the last actual manufacturer of TVs in the U.S., and I think they stopped manufacturing TVs in the U.S. sometime in the 90s. But yeah, Zenith. I always used to have Zenith, and then once they went away, I mean, in all honesty, today, LG are some of the best TVs you can get. But back in the 90s and 2000s, you had like Mitsubishi had some great TVs, Hitachi, and also Sony had great TVs. Now I think it's LG. Samsung used to be really good, but I think LG is the best right now. Sony's still really good, but the prices are still kind of out of whack for what they are, I think. The Trump administration reached a deal with Taiwan in February that removed 99% of its trade barriers. During another visit by a bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers last year, they emphasized that the U.S. would continue to partner closely with Taiwan. Jim, telling you a question for you. I created a bingo card for tomorrow's sessions of Robert Barnes with words like Massey, War, Whore, Gruber. Oh, you'll get pretty drunk if it's drinking bingo. Quasar? Was Quasar the last company? It wasn't Zenith? I thought it was Zenith. If they did that, well, we could just shut down the Strait of Malacca and shut it down 90% of their oil. Yeah, we could do that. Samsung, I will not touch. Have a microwave with mind of its own from Samsung. Okay. We let them conquer us. Like, come in, said the spider to the fly. Yeah, we kind of did. Because at the time, for whatever reason, honestly, this is what Henry Kissinger, like, to try to hurt the Soviets, we wanted to buddy up with the Chinese because we thought we could drive some kind of a wedge between Russia at the time, Soviet Union, and China, and it didn't really work. They never got along to begin with. Mao did not like Stalin. They didn't get along. Whooped Japan. Yeah, I love Samsung TVs. Yes, they want a canal through Taiwan. Yeah, maybe. This is another thing. U.S. lawmakers say they'll visit Taiwan before Trump's summit with Xi. Yeah. Trump is breaking China now. Yeah, he is. That's the whole thing. What's going on is to break China. A partisan group. We already said that. So yeah, no. This is basically the same story, same exact story. It looks like same exact story. It's the same exact story. Nothing. It says this is the only thing that wasn't in that last story. During another visit by a bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers last year, they emphasized that the U.S. would continue to partner closely with Taiwan. I don't think that was in the last one. All new tech is focused on information gathering. You'd do better with older models. Yeah. They're trying to jack up his summit with Xi. That's what I think so, because all four of those senators don't like Trump. All four of them. What is this? Oh yeah, this story. It was in Serbian. I had to change it because I saw this story and I was like, this story, my people want to know about this. Yes. Got to get the papers. Got to get the papers. Yes. That's from a Bronx tale. Poland extends border controls with Germany and Lithuania until October. Border checks with EU neighbors remain in force for another 6 months. Poland will extend controls at its borders with European Union members, Germany and Lithuania, for 6 months until October 1st, the Polish Interior Ministry announced today. The decision is a consequence of the need to combat illegal migration and ensure internal security, the ministry said in a statement on X. Poland introduced temporary border controls in July, following similar examples from several other EU member states, which have reintroduced border controls to stop illegal migration. Yes. Was it Goodfellas? I thought that was I think it was Goodfellas. Why did I think it was A Bronx Tale? Why did I think it was A Bronx Tale? I thought there was some Jimmy Two Times or something like that. Maybe it was Goodfellas. So that's it. That's the story. And then same story basically from Reuters. This is Poland extends border checks with Germany and Lithuania. The decision is need to counteract. Yeah, so that's it. That's it. So I don't know. I thought this was something. Border EU states having borders, border checks like they used to have before there was an EU. Probably gonna be a lot more of that going around. Same thing here from Salem Network. It's all just basically, it's just the same thing repeating everywhere. So, and then this story I saw, this is kind of crazy. So we had a shooting. It's Goodfellas when Hendry was introducing the crew. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was when little Calogero C was doing something talking about the people going into the bar. Maybe, was there one in both movies? 2 times? In both, was there somebody 2 times in both movies? Could that be possible? Or am I just Mandela affecting that in my head? So, officer fired after fatally shooting man in a mental health crisis as others tried to de-escalate. So we have Al Sharpton, and Ben Crump, 2 race hustler scumbags who got fired for following protocol and acting the way he should have acted. Am I a clown to you? Why? Do I make you laugh? How am I so fucking funny? Tell me. Hartford, Connecticut. Look how they put this in there. A white Connecticut police officer who fatally shot a black man in a mental health crisis was fired Friday as public outrage grew over video showing he began shooting 30 seconds after he arrived at the scene. Like, how? What difference does it make how long you're there? If there's a threat, you have to act within seconds. So 30 seconds, you said, hold on, don't do anything with that knife. Let me give you more time. I mean, is that really where we're at? Yeah. Other officers had spent several minutes trying to de-escalate the situation. So it was Tommy 2 times? I thought it was Jimmy 2 times. No, you know what? I was thinking of somebody coffee cake face guy. I was thinking of. That's what I was thinking of when I did that. Somebody coffee cake. Tommy coffee cake, Johnny coffee cake, something. Yeah. The officer's firing came a day after Al Sharpton and noted civil rights lawyer scumbag Ben Crump spoke at the funeral of the man who was killed. Hartford Mayor Arunan, look at this. Hartford Mayor Arampalamalam said he fired the officer Joseph Mangano because of what he saw on the body cam footage of the February 27th killing. This cop's probably going to get paid off because he did not do anything wrong. The videos released earlier this month by the state's inspector general showed that Jones was on the city street holding a large knife, but that the first group of officers who arrived at the scene backpedaled to keep their distance from him, spoke to him kindly, and seemed to have gotten him to calm down. Yes, it's a Jeet. Yes. They're on fire. Who's on fire? And then I saw one officer come in, Ragamalapallam said at the news conference. He said that Mangano, a rookie officer still in the probationary period, did not work with his teammates, did not de-escalate. And then the end result was a tragic incident that took the life of Stephen Jones. Connecticut has no credibility after Tracy Thurman. Yeah. Al Sharpton isn't the distinguished man he pretends to be. Watch clips from the 80s. Oh, yeah, no, Al Sharpton's a fucking scumbag. Total scumbag. Race hustler, grifter. All he is. Trying to be Jesse Jackson, and Jesse Jackson did stuff for some people. Yeah, send in the social worker, Shanice. That's right. Hey, Cool Frog, great to see you. Thanks for being here. Officer Mangano came in, sirens blazing. He came in and from the video appears to have re-escalated the situation and made it worse. Yeah, Tawana Brawley. Yeah. Crown Heights riots. Yeah. That's all Al Sharpton. Local police union president James Rutkowski defended Magnano, saying his actions were justified and in the line with department policies. Hello? Officers will now hesitate in split-second situations, not out of fear of the suspect, but out of fear of political second-guessing afterwards. He said in a statement, the lost seconds will slow responses and leave families more exposed as criminals sense the weakness. Contact information for Magnano could not immediately be found. A Hartford police spokesman referred questions to Chief James Rovella, who did not immediately return a phone message or email Friday. The State Inspector General's office is investigating the shooting and will determine whether to file criminal charges against Magnano. Earlier this month, the office released the body cam footage from the 4 officers who responded to the scene. Jones's sister, Audrey Jones, had called 911 seeking help for her brother because he was having a mental health crisis, reporting that he had a knife and had cut himself. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. I would quote Sean Connery from The Untouchables, but I don't want to use that derogatory term for without papers. White because color racists won't allow whites to have races. Yes, Joe O'Connor. Al Sharptongue, the bobblehead. Yeah, I'd bring a pencil. Body camera footage shows Stephen Jones on a city street as 3 officers kept telling him for several minutes to drop the knife he is holding. The officers also tell him they're there to help. If color racists had to address whites by race, they would be in race riots every day. Steve, you're okay. We're here to make sure you're okay, Officer Pregnano. Why do all these officers sound like they have Italian names, but yet the mayor has a Pajit name? Jones can't be heard saying anything in the video. It's about 12 minutes after the 911 call. Magnano arrives, draws his pistol, and shouts to Jones to drop the knife, telling him, you're going to get shot. The woman is heard screaming, don't shoot him. The video shows Pregnano motioning at Magnano, appearing to tell him to back away as Jones slowly walks towards Magnano. The officer gives a final warning before shooting Jones 9 times, 30 seconds after he got out of his cruiser. Well, the guy came at him with the knife. What's he supposed to do? Run away? Police don't run away. Police don't run away. Al Sharpton was demanding the harsh sentences he now opposes during the crack epidemic. Yeah. Color of law doesn't describe race. Yes, it doesn't. The video shows Jones died at the hospital 4 days later. At the Jones' funeral, Sharpton delivered the eulogy. Crump, a lawyer for the family who has represented relatives of black people killed in high-profile police shootings, said Jones needed a helping hand from the Hartford Police Department, but instead he got 9 bullet holes in his body. That is a shame before God. And your status as a mental health and the color of your skin should not equal the death sentence. Yes, unless they're in Uvalde. Yeah, then they run away. Yeah, hands up, don't shoot. Yeah. In a statement, Sharpton on Friday said the firing is a necessary first step, and the Jones family and the peoples of Hartford deserve the full justice. He and Crump called for reforms and aimed at improving Hartford Police's response to calls involving mental health. Jones' shooting happened just days after a different Hartford officer fatally shot another man in crisis. Oh, okay. On February 19th, Everard Walker was fatally shot by the Hartford police in a different neighborhood. A relative had called the 211 Health and Human Services helpline. 2 mental health professionals responded to Walker's apartment, asked police to accompany them to the call. They tried not describing race or color once for a while, but they couldn't use white, so that stopped. Yeah, lots of Kool-Aid for them. Yeah, yes, a lot of fatigue going around. A lot of fatigue. 2 mental health professionals responding to Walker's apartment asked for police to accompany them to call. Inspector General Elliot Prescott said in a preliminary report, Officer Alexander Clifford filed several shots at Walker as Walker raised a knife at another officer who appeared to be falling backwards. and said Prescott, who was also investigating that shooting. So I guess they want you to just, they just want you to get shot or stabbed, just get stabbed. Yes, the sick racists have a way to divide people. Yes, they do. Have to have a way. Yes, they do. There's a Hartford police union criticizes mayor's decision to fire officer who fatally shot man. So let's see.
Police officer Joseph Magnano, the man who shot and killed Stephen Jones last month, has been fired.
Mayor Arun Arulampala made the call today. News 8's Preston Stober has the very latest now in this live report from City Hall. Preston?
Dennis, Catherine, the mayor made the call. He says that he fired the officer Magnano based on his performance. Now, happening right now, we're going to show you there is a protest happening right outside of
Well, it's a
City
Palestine
Hall.
protest. What is this? Wait a minute.
Topics, one of which is
This is a free Palestine. See, this is they have to just glom all this crap together to get people to show up. Yeah, Douglas Dauntless says this is what happens when you don't change the smoke alarm battery. I wonder if that constant beep, always there, that beep, if that can drive you crazy. It might. Maybe that can drive you crazy. Maybe we should look into it. Maybe we should do a study. Maybe that's what's causing all the crime in some communities. CO2 detector batteries. Yeah. It's already paid for. Yes, it is. In other words, America delivered what the black community demanded, and it turned into whites being racist. I couldn't have said that better myself. Amazing disgrace. Yeah, they can't help these protests. They can't keep these protests straight. Yeah, they can't.
Stephen Jones. They are calling for justice. Now, this was the last day of Magnano's probationary period as a new hire, the last day that the mayor could rule on his performance. On February 27th, Hartford officer Joseph Magnano shot Stephen Jones 9 times.
Okay, wait a minute. That guy just kept coming at him and coming at him. Those other officers didn't even have their guns raised. Wait a minute. They think the chirp means it's working. Wait a minute. Let me look at this. Hold on. We're going to show. Watch. Just watch this video again. Look at these other officers. They don't even have their guns raised. These other officers should be fired immediately. If he charged at this officer, they would have never got their guns up in time to stop him from stabbing him.
On February 27th, Hartford officer Joseph Magnano shot Stephen Jones 9 times. Jones died a few days later. On Friday, Mayor Arun Arulampala deemed that action was enough to fire Officer Magnano.
I saw one officer come in, Officer Magnano, late to the scene.
Late? Oh, he was late. Maybe he was on colored people time. Did you ever think about that? Mm-hmm. Only 9? I don't know. I mean, hey, what's up with the cats? Awesome. Respect the law. Yeah. Renee says, ironically, both white and black describe an absence of color. That's definitely late. Yeah, definitely late. I think he was there right on time. He saved the community from a crazed man with a knife. Connecticut is now New Jersey and New York. Yeah, it's crazy.
Not de-escalate, and the end result of that was a tragic incident.
The mayor says today was the final day of Magnano's probationary period that lasts 1 year after an officer graduates from the...
I always want to point out, too, there is something called the 21-foot rule. That if someone has a knife, they can get to you and stab you before you can get your gun out and fire in 21 feet. By the time they start coming at you, by the time you get your gun, so, I mean, it's pretty stupid to not be ready. Yeah, a very large man with a very large knife. Yeah, love you, Bella. My depiction of cats was actually very crude. Thought you heard 10? Yes, flax before feelings. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Academy. Mayor Arulampala says he can make...
Wait. What was his name? Mayor Lump Lump? Mayor Lump Lump? Did I say his name wrong?
Academy. Mayor Arulampala says he can make the judgment on an officer's performance only during that period.
His fitness, his ability to perform as a police officer in that interaction convinced me that he does not meet the requirement of performance of a police officer.
Not in agreement, the police union. Their response was simple.
The mayor's an idiot.
The Hartford...
the mayor's an idiot.
Went on a call for the immediate reinstatement of Magnano. He says the police union stands by Magnano's actions, calling it, quote, justified lawful use of force. They say if Magnano would have been fired on any other day outside of his probationary period, they would have more recourse.
This is a tragedy of justice and process. Our mayor caved to political pressure. He is a coward, He is devoid of any semblance of leadership or manhood.
After the shooting, the medical examiner's office ruled Jones' death a homicide, but the inspector general's investigation is still open.
Yeah, the mayor is an effing idiot. Yes, he is. Hey, Bob Marley, what's up over there on Twitch? Great to see you. Bob Loblum. I don't know what it is. It's a weird name. 7 shots, and maybe 9. They were fast. I mean, they were fast. So, but I mean, there was no pause and then more shots. So, is the mayor a Muslim? Maybe. I don't know. He's got a Muslimish name. I don't know. Could be a Pakistani. Could be an Indian. I don't know. Doc's here. What's up, Doc? Great to see you. Brian says, it's ridiculous. It is. It is.
Now, the mayor says that his decision today is final. For Redikowski, he says that if that is true, then the union will, quote, go to war. When asked what that means, he said, we will find out. Live in Hartford, Preston Stober, News 8.
Yep. Yeah, what will that be, huh? What will that be? No, I don't want.
Thank you.
I don't want it. So, Hartford Police Union police officer was fired Friday after fatally shooting a man in February while the local police union stands behind the officer's actions. His name almost sounded like Chewbacca's father's name. Yes. His wife don't wear a burqa, though. A commie Muslim. Defiance has a price, yes. Let's see. I want to see the union go to war. You know what I mean? I would still sue and say, no, he's firing him for doing his job. That's the opposite. Those other three cops that had their guns down when the guy was going at the other officer with the knife, they should be fired or at least suspended. Something. I mean, if I was in charge of that police department, those other 3 officers would get a reprimand at a minimum, if not a couple days off without pay. Hartford Mayor Arananana said he made the decision to terminate Officer Joseph Medina effective immediately based on his performance. He fired 9 shots at 55-year-old Stevie Jones on Blue Hills Avenue. Brooklyn was having a prayer call in the street at 5 a.m. What's up, Duck Fat? What's that? Oh, wait. Something happened over there on the Rumbles. Got the chat. It says, Duck Fat. It says, Duck Fat gifted 1 Jim Tells You membership. And that membership went to Gundam Zig. How's it, Jim Tells You and everybody? How's it, buddy? Great to see you. Thank you so much. That means, let me do this. Let me correct the banner. That means we are now just $20 away from adding the first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, everybody. Yes. Gundam Zig was gifted a membership by Duck Fat. Thank you so much. The perp had no fear the way that they would fire. Yeah. 5 against 1. I mean, I guess you could try to tackle the guy or something like that. Or maybe, why didn't they use a taser maybe? Should have tried to taser him and take him down. Yeah, you got the Rumble clap. Thanks. Yeah. That's why I posted pictures of the cats, because the other cops were pussies. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, why didn't they use a taser or something, or a beanbag or something? I guess they just, I don't know. I mean, they could have tried. One of them should have tried a taser to see if they could have knocked him down and get the knife away from him. I mean, I guess, but at that point when he's coming at you and he's got a knife and you got a gun, you're going to use the gun. Whatever, we saw this. It says a tragedy of process. Union Police President said, our mayor caved to political pressure. He's a coward. He's devoid of resemblance to leadership. After shooting, the medical examiner ruled it a homicide. So we'll have to see. We'll have to watch this and see what happens and keep an eye on it. Why should they endanger themselves even more? Well, that's what I'm saying. When the first officers said they were de-escalating and everything like that, and they kept telling him to drop the knife, and he didn't drop the knife, at some point they should have hit him with a taser or something. You have one guy with a taser or non-lethal, less than lethal. Actually, you can't say non-lethal, less than lethal, and have the other people there with their firearms ready to go lethal if it requires it. And of course, the liberal mayor has a police detail. Of course he does. And look at Spuds gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Spuds. Oh, and I forgot to do that for Duck Fat on Rumble. Let's see. And then Spuds gifted membership went to Richard Wharton, received a gifted membership from Spuds. Thank you so much. That means right now, folks, we are only $14 away. Just $14 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. Richard got it. I don't know. Look, there's a little bit more on this. There's another thing here from another local news thing. It says Hartford Police Union. So I was going to see if maybe this was a little different.
The mayor's an idiot and not a police officer.
We have a lot to get to on a very busy Friday night right now at 5, but we do want to start with some breaking news. The head of the Hartford Police Union right there calling out the mayor tonight.
This is in response to the mayor firing the officer who shot and killed Stephen Jones. Joseph Magnano, a rookie officer, shot Jones 9 times last month. Jones was holding a large knife during a mental health crisis, walking towards Magnano when he was shot.
Your reporter Dylan Fearon live outside City Hall right now after talking with the mayor and the police union. Dylan?
Well, Mark, Aaron, Mayor Arunan Arulampala making it clear
today,
saying that Officer Joseph Magnano re-escalated the situation with Stephen Jones back on February 27th.
Why, did he give him the knife or something?
Drop it. We don't want to shoot you. We don't want to, bro.
We don't want to, bro.
You gotta drop it.
Mayor Arulampalam says the first 3 officers were de-escalating, trying to get Stephen Jones to drop his knife, trying to get him to calm down. But the mayor says Magnano was aggressive, and his performance on that call does not meet the standards for Hartford police officers.
You're gonna get shot! Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Drop it! Last time! Drop the knife! Drop it!
I mean, I'm sorry. He's backing up. He's backing up. He didn't just immediately shoot. He didn't have to back up at all. Police do not have to back up at all. Police are not required to retreat ever, at all. They only have to retreat to the air at their back. That's it. So, Brian Ogden with $1. Thank you so much, Brian Ogden. And then Lisa comes in with a $5, it doesn't say anything. I don't know. Lisa, thank you so much. I don't know if there was supposed to be a comment there. If it didn't show up right, let me look. Is it a sticker or something? Thank you so much. That means we are now just $8 away. Just $8 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Man, we're only $8 away and we got a whole hour still left of the first hour. That's crazy. Stop using mental health as an excuse for someone trying to attack any person. Yeah. I mean, we saw that story the other day. Remember the guy who got found not guilty by reason of insanity for just walking up to a car and shooting that Asian woman in the head? And they said, oh, yeah, well, yeah. Johnson says, I'm about 15 miles away from the incident. There's no real big issue I've heard, just trying to stir things up. Well, yeah, that's what Ben Crump and Al Sharpton do. That's how they make money. That's it. That's the only way that have any relevance whatsoever is try to stir shit up, to claim racism when there ain't no fucking racism involved. This had nothing to do with race at all. I mean, maybe they're the racist because if this was a white guy, they wouldn't be there, the cop wouldn't have been fired, and nothing would have mattered. And it would have been nothing at all. No one would have gave a shit.
Officer Magnano came in, sirens blazing. He came in and...
Sirens blazing?
Video appears to have...
Is he supposed to not respond with sirens? Is there a policy that says he's not supposed to respond with sirens on when there's... Hold on a second. Yes, we're at this point because of tolerance. Do you remember Buck Thurman? Connecticut police look ridiculous. Al Sharpton loved Trump's money back in the day. Oh, yeah, they all did. Jesse Jackson and Trump were great friends. Great friends.
Re-escalated the situation and made it worse, and that led to a point of tension.
Magnano is 23.
Yeah. This guy's afraid of Sharpton. Oh, yeah, he is. Do we know the number of arrests of the guy with the knife had? I don't know it, but if I had to guess, I would say it's above 5. This one is difficult, and he was not attacking him, just approaching with a knife. Was there more at the start of this confrontation showing his intent to attack? If somebody coming at you with a knife, Allegan News, you tell them to stop, drop the knife. They don't. They're a deadly threat. I mean, that's just the way they're a deadly threat. There's no way around it. I mean, technically, it's not an official rule, but the 21-foot rule is a thing. If somebody's within 21 feet of you, they can get you the knife before you can shoot them if they decide to sprint at you. They can close the distance before you can get it up and fire. Get it out of your holster and fire. Is what it is. And since they already had their knives out, I don't know. He wants to get reelected. Come at me with a gun. Can I tell them to drop their guns? Cops come at me with a gun. Can I tell them to drop their guns? No. That doesn't really work that way. The bottom line is if a cop is in fear of himself or others, they can, if they feel that they're live or have a risk of great bodily harm or death, just like anybody else. If you were just a person standing on the street and this guy's coming at you with a knife and you had a gun and you defended yourself, it would be lawful self-defense. Do cops get special rights? They don't actually get special rights, but they do. They don't, but they do. You know what I mean? They're not supposed to really, but they do. They were trying to say it's a cultural norm to carry the knife. This was the first BS stated. It's a Ramalamapulam. They are trained to empty the magazine at the 5X spot. They have qualified immunity. Until the Supreme Court does something about that, they got that, which kind of sucks. But also, bottom line is if it's a situation, cops also have a little more, they get a little more leeway when it comes to using force type of thing. Aggression is optional. Yeah. Oh, look at Spuds for $2 rally time. Thank you so much, Spuds. That means we're now just $6 away, $6 away from adding the first additional hour to the show. Thank you all so much for being so generous. Survivors in court are not good for cops. Yeah, well, yeah, because then I don't know. That's a bread knife. Was it a bread knife? It looked like a caveat on the 24-foot rule that was FBI carrying concealed like civilians do. An open carry cop is not what was tested by the FBI created the 21-foot rule. Okay, Bob Charles, good to know. I knew it was a holstered gun anyway. I know it was a holstered gun. So the big bread knives. Terry for $2. Thank you so much, Terry. That means we are now just $4 away. Just $4 away from adding the first additional hour of the show. Thank you so much. What's this say? Doc says, trolling the No Kings rally in L.A. Okay, I'll pull that up. 5 women stabbed in L.A. restaurant. No mention of race in the media coverage. Can you guess? I can guess. Everyone has the right to self-defense. The police were held to an even higher standard, which is absurd. Yeah. Multiple cops. Did no one have a taser? That's what I said. I would have thought they would have tasered him long before this. One of those other cops that did not have their guns raised when he was going at the other cops, or just kind of standing there. What if he would have turned real quick and slashed one of them other cops? He was within arm's reach, really. Yes. Dead men tell no tales. Arrgh, ya matey. Yeah. Just done. Sold us Ginger for $2. Thank you so much. That means we are now just $2 away. Just $2 away from adding the first additional hour of the show. Thank you all so much. NASCAR Mo's here. Hello, everyone. A little late. Hope all is well. Thank you so much. What the F says, I wish I could donate to the show. Still struggling to pay off $78,000 hospitals for my pelvic stabilization surgery. Oh my God. That's rough. I know this is a silly question, but the state didn't help you out at all with that. I would think with that kind of bill, you would be able to get some kind of help from some help from Medicaid or someone to pay some of it. They have even if you have money and stuff, they have what's known as a share of cost thing that you can get, because the share of the cost was so high. If it's greater than a certain percentage of your income, they're still going to cover the treatment, and then you're take that care of. Not the should have shot him in the leg defense. No one said that, I don't think. Well, thank you so much.
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you so much, CZM Cat, for the $4. That means we hit the goal for the first additional hour of the show. And that means we are now $98 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. And we still got another hour to go in this one. Wow. So that's 2 more hours. The show's got 2 hours to go from here. I always wondered, with hospitals always call, negotiate, don't let them give you list price. Yeah. You can throw a knife farther than 21 feet. Examples need to be made. Liberal empathy just emboldens idiocy. I agree. I always have a question for the chat. You guys can let me know what you think. Like right now, it's an hour and 5 minutes into the show. We've already hit the goal for the first additional hour. So the chat says, like it says 8 out of 20, and it says it ends in 55 minutes. Should I reset this for 2 hours and put the new 298 up for another 2 hours, or should I let this expire and then reset it at the hour? I always wondered that, like when this happens and there's so much, we still got a whole nother hour. So I don't know. You guys let me know what you think.
Years old. Today was the last day of his probationary period on the force, which ends 1 year after graduating from the police academy. The mayor confident in this decision to fire Magnano, even if the inspector general determines the shooting was justified. Jones was told to drop his knife 62 times and was walking towards Magnano. A taser was deployed several times, but was ineffective.
His fitness, his ability to perform as a police officer in that interaction convinced me that he does not meet the requirement of performance of a police officer for this city.
The police union is livid tonight, calling for Magnano to be reinstated immediately. Union president and Lieutenant James Rutkowski says the shooting was 100% justified and that the union will now go to war against the mayor.
Our mayor caved to political pressure. He is a coward. He is devoid of any semblance of leadership or manhood. There are dark times coming.
Rutkowski implied legal action could be next.
If he wants to make whimsical ideas to justify this termination, that's on him. But it's not the truth.
And Mark and Aaron, we also know the mayor is hosting a public safety town hall tonight from 6:30 to 8:30 at the Hartford Public Library, which is right here on Main Street. But just in the last few minutes, Mark, and I want to show everyone this.
Hold on a second. I got a couple things in the chat I want to do. So I know FTG is at for the goal. Amazing disgrace. I did get a $5 Cash App from somebody called In the Lurch. So I don't know who that is, but thank you. So I will check this. It will be $93 now to the second additional hour of the show. Thank you so much, whoever you were in the lurch. He's not guilty. So tasers didn't work. I don't think they used tasers. And then Dan Gagek says reset the goal so we know how much we need to go. And then Renee says let it expire. That's a discount rate. Crazy. That's a discount rate. 87,000? What? So tasers were used? I don't think so. I don't think they used a taser. No, I meant something entirely. Oh, did you mean F that guy? FTG, F that guy? Maybe. They said they used taser in last video you played. Did they? Yeah. And he says this guy thinks he's bulletproof. Said tasers were deployed 7 times. Oh, well, if they deployed tasers 7 times, news clip said tasers were used. Oh, my God. Okay, yes. He said they were used and ineffective. That's what it said. I must not have heard that. This said it?
Right now, a protest has started here on
I can't believe I didn't hear it.
Seems these folks, this is some sort of anti-war, anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian protest that has started here on Main Street, where these folks have actually blocked off part of Main Street. The police are here. We did see some officers trying to negotiate in the last couple of minutes with the protesters to try to maybe get them out of the street and continue to let traffic go through. But part of Main Street here in Hartford blocked off, and certainly a lot going on
Go
in
back
the
to the 4
capital city
minutes.
tonight, Mark
Okay,
and Eric.
hold on. I'll go back.
Him, but it's not the truth.
And And Mark and Aaron, we also know the mayor is hosting a public safety town hall.
Here's Lurch. Okay, thank you, Lurch,
6:30
for
to
the 5
at the Hartford Public Library, which is right here on Main Street. But just in the last few minutes, Mark and Aaron,
Oh, wait, no, it must be before this. Hold
in
on.
this decision to fire Magnano
to a point of tension.
Magnano is 20.
Drop the knife!
And his performance on that call, Mayor Arulampalam says the first
Reporter Dylan Fear and live outside. Dylan.
Well, Mark, Aaron, Mayor Arunan Arulampalam making it clear that this was his decision today, saying that Officer Joseph Magnano re-escalated the situation with Stephen Jones back on February 27th.
You gotta drop it. We don't want to shoot you. We don't want to, bro. You gotta drop it.
Mayor Arulampalam says the first 3 officers were de-escalating.
Mayor who? Mayor Arumpalumpalump. Mayor Arumpalumpalump. Mayor Arumpalumpalump.
Trying to get Stephen Jones to drop his knife, trying to get him to calm down. But the mayor says Magnano was aggressive, and his performance on that call does not meet the standards for Hartford police officers.
You're gonna get shot! Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Drop it! Last time! Drop the knife! Drop it!
Officer Magnano came in, sirens
9
buzzing.
shots. 9
He
shots.
came in, and from the video appears to have re-escalated the situation and made it worse, and that led to a point of tension.
Magnano is 23 years old. Today was the last day of his probationary period on the force, which ends 1 year after graduating from the police academy. The mayor confident in this decision to fire Magnano, even if the inspector general determines the shooting was justified. Jones was told to drop his knife 62 times and was walking towards Magnano. A taser was deployed several times.
It says a taser was deployed several times. So I'm sorry, I did not know that. If a taser was deployed several times and he still kept going, then I guess you don't have any choice but to use force. If you have clothing that has metallic fiber woven in it, it will short the taser out, won't reach the skin. Yes, I give the cop a raise. Yeah, 62 times they said drop the knife. And then owning a home, having a 401k, investments, California looks at all of it, unless you're illegal or destitute. Will you know, I'm going to try again, get another reduction. Well, I hope so. I hope you get a reduction. Electricity will go through the fibers rather than go through the body. Yeah. You're kidding me? 62 times? Yeah, I would think you tell them to drop the knife like, I don't know, 5 times. Drop the knife. You're going to get shot if you don't drop the knife. And at that point, like, okay, I guess you want to get shot. Also, just thick or multi-layer clothing can stop a taser. Yeah, the tasers are not perfect. They really aren't. Maybe they should have shot him in the face with the taser. Maybe that, or in the neck or something. Tasers are junk. Fail more often than they work. Yeah, they do. Yeah. 3 warnings should be enough. Yeah, I think 3 strikes and you're out. 3 warnings and that's it, man. Self-deletion by cop. That's what it seems like. I was surprised by no OC spray. Maybe they could have tried it. I don't know. It seems like this police department, like these other cops that were there, are maybe this guy, because this guy was a rookie and on probation stuff just out of the academy. Maybe they teach you what you're supposed to do in the academy, and then after you're on the job, they tell you like, oh no, you're not supposed to do this. You're not. In other news, chat is listening. I don't know what that means. They sell the type of clothing on Amazon and other places. Everyone is trained 3. All right. So we listened to this. I just rewound it so that we could rehear it again. So the mayor fired him. So I don't know. I think this is bullshit. I don't think the cop should have been fired. I don't think the cop did anything wrong. Police union calls him a coward, threatens legal action. President of the union says he's a coward. He's devoid of any semblance of leadership or manhood. Oh my God. He says he has no manhood. I have to go, Obama. Be right back. All right. You're dropping the Cosby kids off at the pool. Mayors should not be in charge of police departments. No. That's how I think. I don't know. That's what I think. The mayor is an idiot and not a police officer. Implied legal action could be next. Whatever happened to the Bolo gun tech they were bragging about 6-7 years ago? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. They do have nets though. They could try to nets, or what does work what does work, and I don't know why they didn't have it, because I know some places don't have them. Those 30 millimeter or whatever it is, they're like the big soft things that they also have OC and stuff in them, but they can hit somebody with it and basically knock them down. Delay is obvious. I wouldn't go to Hartford 20 years ago except for a concert. Where's everyone listening? Yeah, the cop saved a life. Should he wait until it's too late? Beanbags, guns work. Yeah, those work. Beanbags work. There was somebody who got sued because there was a defective beanbag that he shot somebody with and it hurt him. And they tried to sue the cop because the beanbag was defective. And they were like, you can't sue the cop because the beanbag was defective. Usually the orange shotgun has a beanbag. Yeah, 40 Mike. Yeah, it's like 30 or 40 millimeter. It's like a big ball that's a soft, so it'll hit somebody and basically take them down, hit them in the chest, knock the air out of them, and they fall down. Any elected official, for that matter, should not have control over law enforcement. Sheriffs shouldn't be elected. It doesn't matter if it was a good shoot. Will be played the cop's wrongful termination case. Yeah, that's gonna be. It doesn't matter if he did his job correctly and he didn't do anything wrong. We still fired him because I don't like it. That's going to be a problem. The cop should sue and say that. The cop should sue and say that it was racial discrimination. That's what I would do. You saw Buffett there 30 years ago. I prefer Pina Coladaburg better than Margaritaville. Wasting away in Pina Coladaburg. Did you see the girl the guy held at a police station hostage? Non-lethal, just led to a longer standoff. Oh no, did you see the guys? Did you guys see the girl that held a police station hostage? No, I didn't. If the suspect was white, would it make the news at all? No. Underrated movie. Yeah. Great movie, right? Great movie. Club Dread. Broken Lizards, Club Dread. The same guys that were behind Beer Fest and Super Troopers. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Has Bill Paxton in it. Actually, there are only Leos recognized by the Constitution. Yeah, sheriffs are in the Constitution. Now demon rats will try to start more race riots. Well, sure they will. Metallica, Stevie Nicks, Robert Plant, and the Wailers. Wow, awesome. You love Bella, American Dreamer. Well, we love you. If he wants to make whimsical ideas to justify his termination, that's on him, but it's not him. The union said it was not given advance notice that he would be fired. The union found out after the press did. See, look I got to unblock this post, it says. I don't know how to even do this. The mayor is holding a public safety town hall from Friday from 6:30 to 8:30 at Hartford Public Library. Channel 3 will have news crews there. Oh. Super Troopers was a great movie. Yeah, Super Troopers 2 was okay. It could have been better. Could have been better. Just the AP just says, officer fired after fatally shooting man in mental health crisis. The others tried to de-escalate. Well, they tried to de-escalate, but they didn't. Did he drop the knife? If he dropped the knife, that would have been de-escalating. Then we got another story here, a different story. This one out of, I think this is Arizona. It said, elected sheriffs are the constitutional ones. Oh, I had that backwards. Yeah, the sheriffs are constitutional officers. Fraternity leader at Northern Arizona University charged with hazing in students' alcohol death. I mean, I don't know about this whole stuff. I mean, hazing, isn't that part of college and stuff, is hazing? I don't know. Flagstaff, Arizona, the pledge master for a fraternity at Northern Arizona University was indicted Friday on felony hazing charge involving a student who died in late January after a night of drinking at a Rush event. Wow, they went and saw Rush without Neil Peart. The hazing charge alleges Carter Eslick caused or forced the drinking that led to the death of 18-year-old Colin Daniel Martinez on January 31st at an off-campus house. So what is this? So he caused or forced? Did he force him to drink? Because if he forced him to drink, that I could see being a crime. But saying he caused him to drink by saying, here, drink this, and then he did it, I don't know. Just saying. Martinez was found unresponsive at the home by police after bystanders performed CPR on him. He died at the scene. An autopsy found Martinez died of alcohol poisoning and had a level of .425, more than 5 times the state's legal limit for driving, an amount generally considered to be fatal. Super Troopers 3 comes out this year. I was looking up when 2 had been released. Well, that's awesome. Jim, they had space bases. Now these people are soft. Yeah, I know. Get rid of all skull and bones. Well, they should. The loss of a young person is always a tragedy. Coconino County Sheriff, County Attorney Amon Barker. What is with all these names? Said in a statement. Joseph Blumrich, an attorney representing Eslick, didn't immediately return a phone call seeking comment. 2 other members of the Delta Tau you're on double secret probation, Delta. Were arrested along with Eslick after Martinez's death, but the charge filed on Friday was only against Eslick. I once blew a .49 and was still talking. Yeah. Prosecutors declined to say whether they will ask a grand jury to indict the other 2 fraternity members. Oh, look at this. Josh Blumpkin. Yes. What's up? Wrestler Town comes in with 5. Jim tells you memberships. Thank you, Wrestler Town. Thank you so much. Wow. Let's see who got those. It says American Dreamer received a gift of membership from Wrestler Town. Colorado Mountain Girl. Alpha Channel. Penny G CPA. Penny G CPA. Maybe that's Penny G CPA. And B.A. Turner. All received gift of memberships from Wrestler Town. Thank you so much, Wrestler Town. That means our goal is now $63 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, Wrestler Town. Thank you. Yes. The guys from Super Trooper went to Communist Colgate University near me. What's this? Will Trump be able to ink a deal with Iran in Pakistan talks? Maybe. I don't know. Just like Pakistan is getting involved with Afghanistan and stuff. So, and believe it or not, Pakistan has a mutual defense treaty with Saudi Arabia. So if Iran keeps screwing around and attacking Saudi Arabia, Pakistan will start attacking Iran. Because they have to. It's part of the defense treaty. Martinez was among 4 people who were candidates for the fraternity and shared 2 bottles of vodka to ensure they vomited, according to court documents. Some witnesses say the bottles might have been diluted with water. Witnesses reported readjusting his sleeping position, checking his pulse and breathing, and looking up symptoms of alcohol poisoning throughout the night. After Martinez died, the university suspended the fraternity. Oh, yeah. Dean Wormer was pissed. He said, "That's it. You're done, Delta. No more toga parties." The national organization later voted to shutter the NAU chapter. Oh, pussies. They're supposed to storm out and go, da, 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 da. They needed to have, Otter and, what was the other guy's name? Go in there and, wait, Danbury is Super 7 or something. Does anyone know that Iran is filled with mountains? Yeah, it is. Pakistan needs a lesson too. Thank you very much for the membership. I appreciate it. Flounder, and Pinto. Pinto was the guy who might or might not have slept with an underage girl. And the mayor's daughter. Yes, and then what was the guy? Was it Otter? Was Otter, what was the guy's name that slept with the mayor's wife? Or Dean Wormer's wife? The guy with the jacket that said he was pre-law and pre-med? Don't worry, I'll handle this. I'm pre-law. I thought you were pre-med. I'm both. Okay, well, we have a news clip of this that we'll watch real quick for the story. I should have put this first. That's my bad.
Indicted an NAU frat member in connection with a jury has indicted an NAU frat member and jury has indicted an NAU frat member in connection with a deadly hazing case. Back in January, 18-year-old Stuart Colin Martinez died from alcohol poisoning. An autopsy found he had more than 5 times the legal limit in his system. Prosecutors say that Carter Eslick forced Martinez to drink the alcohol as part of a hazing ritual leading to his death. Eslick is one of 3 fraternity members initially arrested. The fraternity, Delta Tau Delta, closed their NAU chapter after the incident.
Wow. Interesting. What's Gundam Zig says, DHS forced to form a cordon for driveway at Macadam PDX. Protesters forced the gate open twice and tried to breach the external doors. Well, that's not a good idea. That's a good way to get shot, actually, trying to force doors open. anal consumption is dangerous. Is that what they were doing? Were they pouring it in their butts? Is that what they were doing? That's not good. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. It's the worst idea to go into Pakistan, not even Iran. No. I'm saying Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have a defense pact that if Saudi Arabia is attacked, Pakistan has to come to their defense. That's what I'm saying. Pakistan would attack Iran, not anyone. Butt chugging. Yeah, no, not good. Don't do it. Fraternity leader at Northern Arizona University charged with hazing and student's death. Pledge master. Martinez was found unresponsive. Autopsy found he had a level of 0.425. So this is the same story, it seems like. Same story. Some witnesses said the bottles might have been diluted with water. Witness report readjusting his sleeping position. That's actually not diluting the bottles with water. Boone. It was Boone. Boone. That was his name. Was pre-law and pre-night. Yeah, it's Boone. It was Boone. The guy who's been in a bunch of stuff. He's a good actor. He's been in other stuff. Was good. After Martinez died, the university suspended the fraternity. And this story I thought was very interesting, out of Hawaii. All right. Wait, what? I leave for a second and get back to pouring it into their butts and butt chugging? Well, that's what someone said. I don't know. It didn't really say that. Hey, Lynn Williams, thanks for being here. Awesome. Thanks for being here. State board approves takeover of the Wahiawa Dam after a mass flooding at Oahu's North Shore. Oh, the North Shore. Wow. That was a great movie. I don't know if you guys ever saw The North Shore. Great.
Jose's Mexican Cafe and Cantina
what?
in Kaimuki has everything your heart desires. Come in for lunch, pahana, or dinner. Big sports, great friends, and lots of fun. Woohoo! Jose's, simply outstanding Mexican food since 1973.
After the mass flooding on Oahu's North Shore, the State Board of Land and Natural Resources today approved the acquisition of the Wahiawa irrigation system, including the more than century-old Wahiawa Dam.
Blutarski
Dole
was
Food Company says that it's handing the system over to the
Belushi.
state free of charge to ensure that it is continued use for agriculture and for the community. Kristen Concilio reports.
Residents here in the North Shore say they're not waiting for the state or city to take action. They're taking things into their own hands, dredging this river next to the...
Yeah, Boone, you're right. Otter, it was Otter that was pre-law and pre-med. Boone was the guy who was dating the girl who ended up sleeping with Sutherland, not Kiefer, Kiefer's father, Donald Sutherland, who was the professor when they were smoking dope. What was that you were going to saw them watering down? You were going to say about them watering down the vodka? I was going to say that I don't think that's a good idea because if you water down the vodka, that actually makes it be able to drink more vodka, take in more because the water dilutes stuff. And I think it's worse to water it down as taking it straight, because straight will actually make them pass out faster. I think you'll be able to, with the water, you'll be able to drink longer and more, I think. Maybe I have it backwards. I don't know. Seems the stupid brain cells multiply faster than the smart ones. Yes. Niedermeyer, dead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bluto. Mr. Blutarski, 0.0. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Take cap before the next storm.
Volunteers, and they're doing this from the heart. They're not going to wait for the state or the city. They have to get it done today.
For decades, residents say they've been urging the government to help prevent mass flooding that happens almost every time there's heavy rain by dredging the river and improving the Wahiawa Dam.
Something's gonna happen. Elderly people might drown. We got to do this thing now before any people get seriously hurt or dead.
The latest storm prompted the city to evacuate North Shore neighborhoods over fears of the Wahiawa Dam failing. And now the state finally plans to improve the more than century-old dam and water system, but that could take years.
To alleviate fears, the dam has always functioned as it needed to. The valves have been wide open since early February. So well before the first storm event started, Dole was already letting out the maximum amount of water to keep the reservoir down.
It was an $80,000 BMW.
Still, North Shore residents say it was the worst flooding they've ever seen. and neighbors aren't going to let that happen again.
So we fix the problem, they don't have to worry. They can sleep nicely, not with one eye open.
Kristen Concilio, Island News.
Interesting. North Shore, Hawaii, after mass floodings on Oahu's North Shore, the State Board of Land and Natural Resources today approved the acquisition of the Wahiwa irrigation system, including the more than century-old Wahiwa Dam. Longtime owner Dole Food Corporation said it's handing over the system to state free of charge to ensure continued use for agriculture and community. Well, that's probably a bad idea because I bet you the state's going to do something stupid with it to screw up whatever goes on. Why isn't alcohol the highest level of drugs in the government's list of dangerous drugs? I don't know. It should be. It probably kills more people than anything else. Damn sucks. Yes, it does. I think it should be one side of fentanyl or the other. Yeah, probably. Hawaiian BMWs need pontoons. Yes, they do. Race against color of liquor. Okay. Racist against color of liquor. Okay, I hear you. Now I got to start reading better. Volunteers are doing this from their heart, says the Wahaluha resident Wendell Toki. They're not going to wait for the state or city. They had to get it done today. Free of charge because they can't afford to fix it. Remember, you can take all the damn pictures you want. Yeah. And then they all get arrested for interfering with state property. Well, here's the thing. If they did it without permits, without the proper thing, and if somebody was to get hurt or some damage happened, they would all be screwed. They could probably get arrested. They really could for interfering. Looks like DHS fell back inside with stuff being thrown at them. For some reason, they have been neutered. Heard another judge issued a ruling limiting them, but couldn't find any confirmation. A judge, I swore I saw something about the appellate court overruled that judge and said you can't limit their usage of stuff. White Russian and black Russian, yeah, because brown Russian tan, brown tan, white tan. Route 8 closed, rest area for body parts found constantly. Oh my God. The state makes FU money off alcohol and vice taxes. Well, Hamburger Helper, that's right. That's why they don't do it. Tiger went to jail. Yeah, we covered that last night. Tiger got arrested for DWI or DUI. We ain't going to wait. I mean, something's got to happen. Other people might drown. We got to do this now before people get seriously hurt. The latest storm prompted the city to evacuate North Shore neighborhoods. Now the state finally plans to improve the more than centuries-old dam and water system. We fixed the problem. They don't have to worry. They can sleep nicely, not with one eye open. So why did they give it to the state if they fixed it? The state of Hawaii told Doe they had to fix the dam. That's why they gave it to the state. Tiger is innocent. Tiger got caged. Tiger isn't innocent. I don't know. I mean, he blew 0.0. He blew Blutarsky, Blutarsky on the breathalyzer. So, and they don't have any proof he was on anything at this point. Just some officer saying he seemed lethargic. Maybe he hit his head in the rollover. I don't know. I think it's one of those things they're not going to be able to actually prove anything against him for the charges. They're just going to be able to hold him for the failure to take the test. Like there's an automatic suspension of your license. And so I think that's all they're going to get him on. I mean, this is not legal advice in any way, shape, or form for anybody, but I've always heard from people, from lawyers that do DUI, represent people in DUIs, that you should never blow. You should never take the test. That's what I've always heard. I don't know if that's true or not. Same thing from the AP, how I had to take over aging dam after failure scare. And then this is a story, man. I saw this story and I went, oh my God. He was hurt? Yes. That's what I'm saying. You see the mugshots? I did not see the mugshots, no. All because it's him. If you suck, you might get off. Okay. All right. What's it say? Amazing Distress says, I love when humans dominate Mother Nature, but I can't help admiring when she takes back control. Yes. Thank you so much for that $5. With that means we are now just $58 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Tiger has enough money, or doesn't Tiger have enough money he doesn't need to drive? Yeah, he probably. He has been arrested for DUI before and admitted to pills. He didn't want to get busted. Probably. But I'm just saying, like, he might be in a problem because he might have an automatic type of thing. I don't know. Florida doesn't, I'm going to tell you right now, Florida does not screw around when it comes to DUIs. You get a third DUI in Florida, you're going to jail. You're going to jail. Yeah. He looked terrible in his mugshot. I've always rooted for Tiger. It sickens me when the AMSM was promoting Tiger because he was half black. Yeah, I mean, I promote him because he's half white. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I just think he's a great golfer. Promote him for being a great golfer. That's it. Driving fast. Yeah, I think what happened, honestly, it said there was a trailer with a pressure washing machine or something. And because the Tiger, because the car was just on its side, it just went on its side. It didn't like roll over or anything. I think he just like, maybe the truck, maybe something happened. He hit the brakes, tried to swerve, and he clipped the side of it and just kind of flipped him onto his side and then rolled. I don't think it was like it wasn't like a rollover. It was just, it went on its side and stayed there. He is half Asian. Yeah, okay, half Asian. My attorney said you only blow if you haven't had a drink. Longer than Epstein. He'll probably go to jail longer than Epstein. That's the sad thing. He'll probably get, if it's his third one, he might get 2 or 3 years. A half Asian is part that crashed. The half black is the part that likes Hennessy. Okay. So that means he can't. Does that mean he can't fly a plane? Probably not. I love watching him. You can't tip a Range Rover. You can't tip a Range Rover over at low speeds. It's not one of those ones. A lot of SUVs have, like a lot of SUVs used to have a problem with tipping over. Are the Houthis getting involved with Iran, or have they already been involved? They fired off a couple missiles. I don't know. It's a Range Rover, top heavy, worse than improperly maligned Suzuki Samurai. Yeah, them Suzuki Samurais used to roll over on like embankments, on embankments and stuff. The Samurais would go over. American Dreamer says, I disagree that you can tip over. So look at this. A grand jury indicts over half the officers in a rural Colorado county. So over half of the officers in a sheriff's department in a Colorado county were indicted by a grand jury. 5 of the 7 law enforcement officers in rural Colorado County. So that's a lot. 5 out of 7. I mean, what about 25 miles an hour? 5 out of 7 law enforcement officers in rural Colorado County, including the sheriff, have been indicted in an investigation into allegations of misconduct. A grand jury indicted Castile County. Chappelle's show claimed him to the White Caucus. Yeah, yes. Oh yeah, and then the Asians claimed Wu-Tang Clan, right? So grand jury indicted County Sheriff Danny Sanchez and former Deputy Keith Schultz on charges of allegedly mishandling human remains discovered in October 2024. According to court documents, a man who found the remains and reported them to the sheriff's office said Sanchez and Schultz took only the skull and left the other remains behind, including teeth. Well, I mean, maybe they just didn't do a good job. Pictures across the front page of the Independent. Are you talking about of Tiger? Yes. Can we can move along. Colorado has a lot of wired stuff going on. Must be the green stuff. Weird stuff. I think you mean weird stuff. 2 months passed before Schultz wrote a report saying he left bones in a bag on his desk and went on another call. A coroner's official said he received a skull in an unlabeled picker bag from the sheriff's office. Separately, Under Sheriff Cruz Soto, Sergeant Caleb Sanchez, the sheriff's son, and Deputy Roland Riley are charged in connection with the use of a taser against a man who was suffering a mental health crisis in February and tried to leave when they insisted he go to the hospital. So here was a mental health guy that they used a taser on, and now they're indicting them for using a taser. We were having a lot of unsolved burglaries. You're talking all the cops had new furniture, barbecue pits, lawnmowers. Are these the cops you're talking about? These cops? You hate that people have been convicted already? The man said he was roughed up by the deputies and was left with broken ribs. Soto was charged with failing to intervene and third-degree assault, according to court documents. Caleb and Riley were charged with second and third-degree assault. In announcing the indictments, the 12th District Attorney Ann Kelly said she's committed to investigating and prosecuting crimes no matter the offender. Oh, no, back in the 70s in CCC. Okay, better than red solo cups. Damn, I thought Jim had a sudden onset of narcolepsy for a second. What did I do? Contra Costa County. Okay. What is this? What is this?
Last year, you're playing in.
Oh, never mind. Not anything to do. I cannot and will not accord violations of trust that a community should have in their police. No citizen of San Luis Valley shall have any doubts about the integrity of police force. A person who answered the phone Friday at the sheriff's office said it was no immediate comment, but planned to post a statement online. Phone numbers listed for Danny Sanchez, Soto, and Riley did not work. Caleb Sanchez did not have a listed number. An unidentified person who answered a phone number for Schultz referred the Associated Press to an attorney, Pete Komar. Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard the guy who played the principal in Back to the Future passed away at 94. He was also the guy that told Maverick Jim was sexting. No, I'm not sexting. I'm getting text messages. I know it's just no one is talking about the fact Tiger had another car accident where he flipped a few years back, got messed up really bad from it. Yeah, and that's why he's on the pills, I think. Or was he on the pills before that? He's had a bunch of surgeries. And stuff. So let's see. We got this other story. Here we go with some news and some pictures of these guys. Jim doesn't sext with anybody. Let's see here.
Let's get you straight to our big story in southern Colorado tonight, where Costilla County Sheriff Danny Sanchez and 4 of his former and current deputies were charged in a new set of criminal indictments today. They're all facing some disturbing allegations, ranging from official misconduct to abuse of a corpse, a pattern of allegations we've been digging into since last summer. KRDO 13 investigator Michael Lagerwell brings us tonight's update from the San Luis Valley.
Sheriff Sanchez and his deputies have bonded or are bonding out of jail following Friday's concerning indictment. However, multiple Costilla County residents have reached out to KRDO 13 Investigates to tell us that these charges are long overdue.
No citizen of the San Luis Valley should have any doubts about the integrity.
Come on, show what she looks like, please.
Force. This office is not afraid to defend that trust.
Is her name Karen?
On Friday, District Attorney Ann Kelly announced the stunning indictment of 4 current and 1 former member of the Costilla County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Danny Sanchez, Under Sheriff Cruz Soto, Sergeant Caleb Sanchez, former Deputy Keith Schultz, and current Deputy Riley Rowland, not pictured, although he has been booked by authorities in Pueblo. Between them, nearly 20 charges stemming from a pair of incidents.
My office fully supports law enforcement in the San Luis Valley. But in order to support these honorable and brave men and women, I cannot and will not ignore violations of the trust that a community should have in their police.
Sheriff Sanchez and former Deputy Schultz are each facing 4 counts of official misconduct and 1 count of abusing a corpse, stemming from an incident where a landowner found human remains on his
here's
property.
the thing. I don't understand how you can charge them with abusing a corpse. They came to collect bones, they grabbed what they saw. Aren't they just going to say, I didn't see anything else? I don't know what the guy's talking about. I grabbed what I saw. How are they abusing a corpse? That sounds like that's when you do something to like they were doing official acts. This is probably going to fall under, honestly, this might fall under qualified immunity because they were just doing their job. Great looking bunch. I don't know. I mean, these guys could be complete scumbags. I don't know. But it kind of sounds like some ticky-tack bullshit. That's what it really sounds like to me.
The indictment says Sheriff Sanchez was briefly on the scene for the collection of the remains, but seemed more interested in looking for arrowheads. The indictment goes on to say that the sheriff's office only collected the skull at the scene, none of the teeth, which have since been lost. The skull, which was placed in a used paper shopping bag, according to the complaint, was also temporarily misplaced, according to the indictment. As for Under Sheriff Cruz Soto and Sergeant Caleb Sanchez, they're each facing multiple counts of assault after the indictment charged they tased a man multiple times without warning when he was not under arrest. The use of force document for that incident not written up until the district attorney questions its absence more than a month later. One big question on the minds of residents now is, in an emergency, they dial 911, who will come out?
There is no mechanism with these indictments that authorizes the removal of the sheriff from office.
KRDO 13 Investigates asked the Castilla County commissioners who attended the press conference if they would call on Sheriff Sanchez to resign.
We just learned of the indictment when everybody else learned about it this afternoon. So I think it's a bit premature to call for the resignation.
KRDO 13 Investigates has attempted to reach Castilla County Sheriff Danny Sanchez multiple times to ask him about these indictments, but we have not heard back. And of course, we will keep you up to date on any new developments in this story. Reporting in Castilla County, Michael Lagerwell, KRDO 13 Investigates.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Don't call the cops if you need a cleaning crew. Yeah. Yeah, when you have an office of less than 10 people, it has to be very rural. Yeah, it is very rural. Is this a county prosecutor, state prosecutor? I think this is a state prosecutor, some district of the state. It's not that county. So who knows? There could have been, there might be some bad blood. There might be something else going on. This could be political. Honestly, this could be political. Maybe they did it. Maybe they didn't do a great job what they were supposed to do, but being criminally prosecuted for doing a shitty job, that seems like some Biden shit. Is the reporter 14 years old? He does look really young. I once lived on an Indian burial site in Dobson Ranch, Mesa, Arizona. There are many witnesses to crazy things we encountered. That sounds very interesting.
Now, just a reminder, if you missed any of today's announcements regarding Sheriff Danny Sanchez, we've got the full press conference from the 12th Judicial District Attorney Ann Kelly posted to KRDO.com and on our mobile news app. Also, a reminder, we're always on the lookout for our next investigation.
Okay. So this is her talking. I think we saw it, right? We don't want to watch her talk. No citizen should have any doubts. These are the guys. Sanchez, Soto, Schultz. Sanchez collected a skull in a newspaper bag that was not labeled, marked, or sealed properly. Apparent witness name redacted in the indictment said the sheriff seemed to care more about finding arrowheads than collecting the human remains. Former Deputy Schultz famous the same charge, 1 count of abuse of a corpse, 4 counts of official misconduct. I mean, I don't know. Should they probably should have just not even. They probably shouldn't have even touched it. They should have just called in the coroner to take it, right? Or some call in the state CSI squad or something. I'm not crazy. I saw a lot of Shia and so many family members. Okay. Canada is lost. Jason, it can't be found. Will we ever see a conservative government in Canada, or will they keep going elbows? Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Canada. I really don't. So let's see. We're going to talk about this. So the indictment says the deputies patted down the man multiple times and voluntarily took him to the sheriff's office to speak about potential employment. However, once at the sheriff's office, according to a body cam transcription in the indictment, Sergeant Sanchez told the man he needed to voluntarily go to the hospital. The man instead asked to be taken home. According to the indictment, the man began to walk away, then run, and Sergeant Sanchez and Deputy Rowland drew their tasers and fired them without warning. The indictment says Sanchez fired his taser twice. The man was on the ground. He was forcibly handcuffed by Under Sheriff Soto. The man was treated for a fractured rib at the hospital. Well, that's not good. That's not good at all. That is not good at all. That's not good at all. Charges were never filed against the man. He was never under arrest, and the use of force was never reported. The indictment charged that the incident wasn't formally written up until more than a month later, in March, when the district attorney's office requested all the body camera footage and reports about the incident. Not pick up full body parts. There's no abuse of corpse. When is the dead body? They don't collect all the blood. Yeah, I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's going to hold up. I think this is an overcharge. That's what I'm saying. This smells political or something to me. That's all. That's what it smells like. It just seems like, these charges will not lead to a new sheriff. The district attorney said there's no legal way for to remove the sheriff or any of the deputies because of these charges. Yeah. DA Kelly said the state law enforcement agencies as well as neighboring law enforcement agencies will help police Castilla County in the meantime. Yes, smells personal. It does, right? So this guy has been sheriff since 2019. On September 18th, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation arrived at the sheriff's office to remove evidence following allegations that it was being mishandled. Like Rekieta's deal, personal, yeah. District Attorney Ann Kelly previously said the sheriff's office is cooperating as CBI arrives to remove evidence and transfer it to the district attorney's office. DA Kelly says it will be reorganized and labeled. The CBI is involved so it can document the chain of custody. Sounds like they really suck at their jobs, maybe corrupt, and are definitely retarded. All right. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Closing some tabs. I had a lot open. All right. Same thing. This is just basically all local news, same stuff. Same thing in the AP. Grand jury indicts half the officers. It's more than half the officers in the county. Oh, we got this story, which I saw was any updates on Tiger Woods? The only updates I heard is he was released on bond. FAA issues ground stop to airports in DC and Maryland over an environmental issue at a government facility. So the Federal Aviation, FAA, issued ground stops for flights at several airports in DC and Maryland area due to an environmental issue at a government facility, according to multiple reports. Pete Muntean, a CNN correspondent, shared a post on X that the FAA issued ground stops at Reagan International, Reagan Washington National, Washington Dulles International, or Reagan National Airport, Baltimore Washington International, Richmond International, and Charlottesville Albemarle, I don't know, airport. Yeah. Tiger's going to be all right. He has millions. They let him out of boot camp. We had a guy, his brain was slow. The tear gas didn't bother him until he came out. Oh. I don't know. The tear gas bothered me, man. I was just, all my stuff it basically was the best sinus drain I ever had in my life. Just snots and stuff coming out. Muntean also shares the Potomac TRACON, a key radar facility handling airspace in the nation's capital, has been evacuated to ATC 0. Potomac TRACON, the key radar facility handling DC, has been evacuated to 0. FAA alerts. The FAA is now implementing ground stops for flights to all those airports. Fox DC reported the ground stops at Dulles and BWI. In a statement to the outlet, FAA shared that ground stops were temporarily issued at airports because of a strong smell at the Potomac Terminal Radar Approach Control. Breitbart News reported earlier in March the FAA also issued ground stops at several airports in Washington due to a strong odor from the TRACON facility. What's the strong odor? Was somebody smoking weed at the facility or something? Yeah, it isn't fun. Take your mask off. Yep. Who at the end is take your mask off and then you have to breathe. Yeah. Tiger just liked to get high and drive the big old SUV. Yeah. Yeah, you used to have to, like, I think you had to say your name and your number, like, I thought. Epoch Times says the same thing. Traffic resumes at Washington area airports. What was the smell? The incident is the second time in 2 weeks of an odor at the air traffic facility. So someone smoking weed and someone smelled it. Another strong smell prompted them to halt traffic. What is the smell? What's causing the smell? What is causing the smell? What is causing the smell? That's it. That's all they're saying. They're not really giving us any information. The smell that's around you. Ooh, that smell. Again, the Potomac TRACON facility is an old Army base that is now being converted to posh suburban housing developments. It used to be by itself, but no more. Oh, okay. So maybe someone was smoking weed and they smelled it or something. It says Cleveland 3, Seattle 2. So that's interesting, right? We got this story, which I think is troubling, to say the least. The story is sus AF. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I used to get high and go road racing through city streets. When I went through CS Hut, the sweat, gas, fresh razor, skin burned. Had to remember to turn left immediately, stepping out to avoid a tree. Yeah. Clinton. Was this? Okay. Okay, so there's a, we'll do this. I'm going to refresh this. We're going to go to this. Oh, wait, no, there's a commercial for Paramount Plus, which we're not going to. Plymouth Cantlin School settles lawsuit over student who refused to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. So a student refused to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you guys be able to guess?
A free speech lawsuit against Plymouth Canton Community Schools has been settled, marking a victory for a 14-year-old student. The ACLU of Michigan and the Arab American Civil Rights League filed a First Amendment lawsuit last summer. They say the student of Palestinian descent refused to recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
So a Palestinian student, she's not American. She wouldn't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. A Palestinian refused to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm sure she has no problem getting on her knees 5 times a day and praying to Mecca, though. And she probably makes the school allow that to happen in the school. They probably give her a special fucking room to do it in. But she can't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Maybe go to Palestine then. Go stand for their pledge. Yes, why am I not surprised? Yes. Wait till you hear. Wait till you hear what the settlement entails. Deport her parents. Yes. Yeah. Dungarees. Yeah, I remember dungarees. They don't have dungarees anymore.
Reaction to the events in Gaza. They say school officials warned her against staying silent during the pledge. Now the district, though, is settling the lawsuit. It agreed not to discipline the student, purge all files suggesting she did anything wrong, and provide counseling if needed. We've reached out to the district regarding the settlement. The superintendent of PCCS sent us a statement that reads in part, quote, "We commend the student for showing courage and speaking up about the incident. We are committed to the agreement reached that will allow all parties to move forward and allow us to expand training opportunities."
Yeah, training opportunities. What do you think those training opportunities would be? What do you think those training? A free speech lawsuit against the Michigan School District involving a 14-year-old Palestinian student. The ACLU of Michigan, the Arab American Civil Rights League, fuck them, announced the step on Thursday, saying the suit filed in 2025 against the Clinton Catholic Schools was resolved. The case spurred out of a January 2025 incident during which the student decided not to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance recited at East Middle School. Jim's retone. Yeah, it was a problem. I technically have no problem with this. However, I wouldn't look hard at other students taking social action over it either. Well, I'm just saying, if they have a school policy and the policy's been the way it is, it's a simple request. If you can't manage it, you go. Yeah. Well, the case, so there was at least 3 incidents in January where she remained seated. The student said the teacher was dismissive after one such instance allegedly told her, "Since you live in this country and enjoy its freedom, if you don't like it, you should go back to your country." Exactly. Yeah. I know. First Amendment, Trump's school policy, simple as. Yeah. I don't know. Nobody had any problem with it for 50, 60 years. Just saying, with the Pledge of Allegiance. It happened. I mean, I know it didn't start until like the 1930s or 40s, but it went on for a long time. If she's not an American citizen, then deport her. If she is, naturalized, denaturalize her. The girl, Daniela Khalif, was described by the ACLU as a Palestinian descent. Of course. Allegiance means something. The ACLU issued a press release saying the terms of the agreement include a commitment from the school to provide diversity, sensitivity, and First Amendment training to leadership and staff. Well, wait, so the teacher didn't have a First Amendment right to tell her, if you don't love the country, why don't you leave? I mean, that was, it's America. Love it or leave it, baby. That's the way it is. I'm okay with it. Let people see who you really are. Yeah. The district also agreed not to discipline the student for her actions, purge her files of anything that suggests her decision to remain seated was improper, and provide counseling if needed. No. The experience definitely had a big impact on me in my life. I'm terrifying at times, scared to face a teacher, and overwhelmed with the attention that came with the publicity. Gundam Zig says, Palestine is fake and no such thing as a Palestinian. The student needs diversity training. Yeah, why is it always we have to change for these people? Why don't, whatever happened to it's a big melting pot, an assimilation, you assimilate into the country? I guess that's gone. Now we have to constantly change to accommodate, the Somalis, the Smellies, the fucking, Palestinians, and the other people that come in and say, oh no, we don't want this, and you can't have this. Can't have it. My daughter has shown her strong moral fiber. Oh, she had the courage to resist when a person in authority tried to make her relinquish her right to free speech. State schools, teachers represent the government. Teacher, in fact, do not have the right while on the clock to say jack about it. Well, that's a lot for anyone, let alone someone in middle school. In response to the settlement announcement, the Plymouth School Superintendent issued the following statement. Our mission is to foster a school environment that's safe, respectful, and welcoming for all. Yeah, Bella woke. She doesn't like people who are not patriotic. We are committed to this agreement reached will allow parties to move forward and allow us to expand training opportunities, which is consistent with our vision and values of respect and understanding and continuous improvement. Help people find the place that suits them rather than us suiting them. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Bella is moving. The right she would never have in Gaza or the West Bank. Yeah, exactly. Just saying. Just saying. See, this is what happens with the ad blocker. See, I do have ad blocker because everyone says, why don't you use ad blocker? It says, looks like your ad blocker is on. We rely on ads to create quality. If you want to see our stuff, disable your ad blocker. Diversity training that refuses to pledge allegiance to the flag. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is, Linda. That's what it is. That's what it is. I don't think we need to, we won't even bother. We'll go to this one. It says, suburban Detroit school settles lawsuit with Palestinian student over pledge of allegiance dispute. Continue without paying at the bottom, Jim. No, I know, but they want me to shut my ad blocker off. That's what it is. See? I clicked it. It's telling me subscribe now, secure transaction. School settles lawsuit with Palestinian student over pledge of allegiance dispute. Maybe she should use some of the money for that mustache. The agreement with Danielle Cliff and her father includes $10,000 payment by an insurance company on behalf of the teacher. So, okay, now we got this story. Iran attacks U.S. Marine Forces stationed. What just happened? What is going on? Yeah, I don't subscribe to read anyone's page. Yeah, weird. You don't have to. I have those issues. Weird. Yeah. That's the reason I won't go to Facebook. Yeah. Iran attacks U.S. Marine Forces stationed at Bubiyan Island, causing casualties. Iran's military spokesman, Abirin Zokafari, in his video statement, said Tehran conducted a combined drone and missile strike targeting U.S. personnel, warning of what is a broader campaign to push American troops out of the region. Well, that's not going to happen. America is not the everything that people expect. We have standards that should be upheld. Yes. Even the 10 Commandments. Homely sand demon. Yeah. There's other words I would use, but I can't on YouTube. U.S. Marines forces stationed at Bubiyan Island, Kuwait, were attacked by Iran, causing casualties. Iran's spokesperson, Abraham Zafagani, in a video statement said, Iran conducted combined attacks. Another note, several U.S. service members also suffered injuries in a separate Iranian ballistic missile strike in early hours of Saturday, the Wall Street Journal reported, citing U.S. and Saudi officials. The attacks occurred at the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. The Pentagon has yet to comment on both attacks. Well, if the Pentagon hasn't commented yet, I don't know. I don't know why we're talking about it yet. Had the same thought. This is fundamental. Complete elimination. Iranian drone missile strikes hit U.S. Marines on Kuwait, Bobiyan Island. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard has claimed that it struck U.S. Marine forces stationed on Kuwait's Bobiyan Island, causing casualties among American troops as tensions continue to escalate in the Gulf. In a video statement, the spokesperson said that Tehran carried out a combined drone and missile attack targeting U.S. personnel, warning that it will describe what it described as a broader campaign to push Americans out of the region. All right. Hold on one second. I have to fix the goal. Drone war. Yeah, we have to fix the goal because the goal has expired. But we need to reset the goal, start another goal for another 2 hours. For another 1 hour, I'm sorry. Another 1 hour. Hold on, I have to do this. This chat. Do this. Start another goal. 20 super chats. $5 for 1 hour. Sorry, folks. This takes a few minutes to do. I don't even know. Okay. All right. Goals all been reset for an hour. We have 1 more hour. All right. $5 said it was a rogue element lighting their loadout, knowing they're done otherwise. I'd call it last gasp. Probably. Over 300 casualties so far of the U.S. military injured. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of people injured. I wish I understood the fiber optic drone. Well, I think they have drones that are controlled by a thin fiber optic cable, so that way they can't be interfered with by radio jamming and stuff like that. I think they were using some of those, either the Russians were using them or the Ukrainians were using them, because you can't interrupt the signal. It's got a very thin fiber optic cable, so it's only good for, like, I don't know how far it can fly, but
غافلگیر کننده چندین مرکز تجمع تروریست‌های صهیونی آمریکایی در جزیره بوبیان را مورد تهاجم ترکیبی موشکی و پهپادی قرار داد. در این تهاجم با انواع پهپادهای انهدامی و موشک‌های بالستیک تعداد زیادی از تفنگداران تروریست آمریکایی کشته و مجروحین این تروریست‌ها به بیمارستان‌های صالح الصبا، محمد الاحمد و علی السالم منتقل شدند. تهاجم علیه سربازان تروریست آمریکایی در هر نقطه‌ای از این منطقه تا نابودی کامل.
I don't want to listen anymore to this guy, but basically this is their stories. We don't know. We don't have the truth. Complete elimination of American soldiers from the land of Muslims is what he said. The strike came as Iran intensifies retaliatory actions following the ongoing conflict involving the United States and Israel. U.S. President Trump has previously warned that more American casualties are likely. Yes, this is Tehran Tom. Yes, it is. They would only have the range of law rockets if using cable tether controls. That's old school, pre-Gulf One. Kapow, Tehran Tom. F this guy, yes. Separation of church and state includes denial of other religions imposing religious doctrines. Yes, it does. Friday, Kuwait authorities confirmed the country's main commercial port was damaged in a drone attack. The Sukhoi port was targeted at dawn by enemy drones. Preliminary reports revealed material damage but no human casualties. Kuwait Port Authority had said on X a second site under construction, Mubarak al-Kabir port in north, was also hit. Kuwait has faced repeated strikes in recent weeks as Iran accuses Gulf states of supporting the U.S. and Israeli military operations. Earlier this month, a drone attack on a U.S. logistics facility located within a civilian port killed 6 American soldiers. I say that, Jim, because old remote control planes and 80 on a tether. Yeah. They just busted one of our military for selling rockets and ammo. What? To who? I didn't hear that story. What? Okay. Kuwait has faced repeated strikes in recent weeks as Iran accuses Gulf states of supporting it. Since the United States and Israel launched the war against Iran on February 28th, Gulf countries have come under repeated missile and drone attacks from the Islamic Republic. Not sure who to. Several Gulf countries, must probably to some undercover Fed. That's why they got busted. Several Gulf countries have voiced concern at the United Nations over Iranian strikes targeting energy facilities and civilian areas. Kuwait's ambassador, Nasser al-Abdullah H.M. Alayla, warned that such attacks pose an existential threat to regional and global security and violate sovereignty and international law. Yes, he's going away for a long time. Yes, he is. Same thing here. Iran's guards claim large number of U.S. Marines killed in mass drone and missile strike. I don't know. I don't have anything. Let me look real quick just to say. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. I don't see anything from the U.S. about this at all. And I can show you guys just so you know I'm not lying. I don't see anything from the U.S. on this. This is, DuckDuckGo. U.S. Marines killed in a range ambush. Report claims multiple Marines killed, but this is from, this is the same thing from them. And 2 days ago, the honors. I mean, nothing from the U.S. admit. We would get word of this. I think. What do you think? If this happened, we should know about this already from the U.S. I got nothing on busted military selling to the enemy. Suicide drone is a stupid name. Is that a translation mistake or what it's really called? I don't know. Citation required. Yes. No assault. Okay. When was this video released? You're talking about the video of the guy talking? I believe that was today or last night. So we got this story. Watch. Trump calls the Strait of Hormuz the Strait of Trump and trolls the dead Iranian leaders during a summit with business leaders. Were there any Marines injured? Okay, hold on. Let's see. We'll change it to Marines injured. It says, okay, we'll go back to this. It says at least 12 U.S. service members injured in an attack on a Saudi Arabian air base. That's it. Nothing at all. We'll go to all. Look. This is saying in March 1st. March 1st, there was 100 U.S. service members injured. Nothing about today. This is Iran claims strikes on U.S. hideouts in Dubai, Kuwait airport after President Stern warning to the Gulf. March 11th. So nothing about, nothing to verify those stories. I just covered it because that's what they're saying. Boxer forgot the two-ship. From a California base and selling them in his home state of Arizona. It says Andrew Paul Armilis. Federal prosecutors have accused a Marine named Andrew Paul Armilis of stealing military weapons, including anti-tank systems. Maybe he was probably. It says current fiber optics drone have a regular range of 5 to 20 kilometers, with newer models demonstrating 40 to 60 kilometers, and one supposedly able to go up to 60 miles. Wow. I would say I hate to be it this way, but I would say he was probably selling these weapons to the cartels, most likely. From a California base and selling them in Arizona. Suicide drone is a general term for any drone that is munitions itself and therefore suicides when it's used. Okay, yeah, because that would be a drone that just like basically kamikazes in or something like that. This must be Iran's Baghdad Bob. Yeah, it's Tehran Tom or whatever. A friggin' Marine in Tripoli. I heard they took off back deck or to some of Joe's cells. Oh, maybe. So here, is this isn't going to play? Where's the fucking video, man? Where's the video? You're not going to have the video? President Trump trolled the Iranian regime leaders over the destruction of their military and gave the Strait of Hormuz a new name while speaking at the Future Investment Initiative. It says, Ice House Force says, I hope you take off. We need another rush. Oh, like a Rush Limbaugh? Wow. Back deck meaning no aircraft. Okay. Buddy, and over there, I mean, if I could be one 1/100th of the broadcaster rushes, that would be great. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't have. That would be awesome. I don't think I have that talent. I really don't. I mean, that's just me being honest. I do the best I can. Thank you to Ice House for life. Yeah. While speaking about Iran's desire to make a deal with the United States, Trump said, we have to open up the Strait of Trump, causing the room to burst into laughter. I mean Hormuz, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Such a terrible mistake. Then he doubled down and he was serious down the crowd. There's no accidents with me. Trump also highlighted his executive order to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, mimicking Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum with a Mexican accent saying, Presidente, tell me it's not so. after he executed the name change. I'm a cross of Art Bell and Rush. Okay. Lysol says, you are it. Okay. I'll do the best. Grok says 13 confirmed American deaths, 7 by direct strike and 6 in air fueling accident. That's total, right? That's total. That's not today, though, right? That's not the Marines. This is just, that's the way it's been. It's been that number, right? It's been 13 for a while. The Strait of Trump, love it. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. He then spoke about how the U.S. military's obliteration of Iran's military and killing of their leaders in Operation Epic Fury. Why do I keep saying furry? What is that going on in my brain? Iran, Gemini, it's likely fake propaganda. Okay, probably. But I put it out there. I've seen it reported. It was on ground news, and supposedly those ground news claimed that the sites reporting it were highly factual. So, I don't know. He then spoke about and their leaders are all dead. Other than that, I think they're doing quite well, he said, sparking more laughter from the crowd. Their Supreme Burrito, the Burrito Supreme is no longer supreme. He's dead. Son is either dead or in a very bad shape because nobody's heard from him. Trump continued, noting that nobody in Iran wants to be the Supreme Burrito now. You need to love on your dog, Jim. Clearly, give the good girl some belly rubs. Well, she likes it, you know. Does Iran still have 1 million soldiers in their army? I don't think they have 1 million soldiers in their army. I thought maybe they do, but I don't think so. I mean, total maybe with all their other stuff. You read hundreds of words a day, easy to mess up. I don't think they have 1 million soldiers, do they? I don't think they do. Let me look it up. Oh, well, they have 340,000 active personnel. When combined with the reservists and the Revolutionary Guard, the total is about 960,000. So, something doesn't add up here with these numbers. I'm going to tell you right now, something doesn't add up with these numbers. I'll show you, because it says the Iranian army knows the Artesh is approximately 340,000 active personnel. When combined with the Revolutionary Guard and reserves, the total is 960,000. But then if you look at the numbers, it says there's 340,000 in the Artesh. It says there's 610,000 in the RGC. Then there's reserve personnel is 350,000. They say that's a total military manpower of 960,000. Well, the problem with that is 600,000 and 300,000 is 900,000. So this is 950,000 right here. And then they only added another 10,000 for this. So somewhere they're doubling up somewhere. They're doubling it up somewhere. What year did they have 340,000 active? That's right now. Jim, are you suffering Freudian slips? I could be. Who knows? Their active military was never that large. Iran lowered the age for the military to 12. Well, that's what they did during the Iran-Iraq war. They had, I want to say they were called Baruch or something like that, or Babush, something like that. They had 12-year-old little kids that would ride up on bicycles and throw grenades. They're going to draft their goats. I'd call animal control plus proxy. Yeah. Am I married? No, I'm not married. We're negotiating now. Why does it say watch? We're negotiating now. Where's it at? You're saying watch. I already subscribed, you jerk-offs. Is there going to be the video here somewhere? How do you say watch and then there's no video? What is wrong with these people? Negotiating now. It'd be great if we could do something, but they have to open it up. They have to open up the Strait of Trump. I mean, Hormuz, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so all that. All right, let me look and see if there's a video of this. Why is there no video of this? Let me look and see if there's a video. No video here. Why do you have these stories and you don't have the video linked? How do you not have the video linked on any of these? How do you not have the video linked? How do you not have the video link? Let me fix this. Hold on. Let me try to look for this. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Okay. No, this is like. All right, I got it. Hold on. Let me do this. Share this tab. Do this.
We're crushing Iran's currently as we speak. I just looked. We had another big day. We hit them. They don't know what's happening. Remember this? They lied about 3 days ago. I said, yeah, we're negotiating with Israel. We are not negotiating. They're being hit so hard. Anybody would be negotiating. They are negotiating. They're begging to make a deal. Turned out I was right. They were negotiating, which they admitted 2 days later. And in order to make up for their misstatement, they said, we're going to send you 8 ships of oil. And the following day I saw, this is 2 days ago, I saw on one of the networks, very
Happy
strange,
Boynton.
there are 8 ships of oil coming out of Iran.
I love those Corsairs.
And then they actually said, we're going to add an extra 2. And they added an extra 2, so we had 10 ships. And then people realized we were actually negotiating. We're negotiating now, and it'd be great if we could do something, but they have to open it up. They have to open up the Strait of Hormuz.
Wow, so he calls it Strait of Trump. Wow, interesting.
Gone.
That was it.
So Billy gets to Vietnam.
Oh, whoa. What are you doing here? Come on, get out of here. No. I love this guy, though. The fat electrician. He's great. All right. And then we got this story. Trump says Cuba's next in speech touting military successes. Yes, have I ever watched Black Sheep Squadron? Yes, I do. I used to watch it with my dad growing up. Pappy Boynton. What was it? I can't remember. I'm trying to think of. That was in the real story about the islands. I think it was Bougainville, right? They used to be around Bougainville. Just pops in your head today. Love the show. Pappy Boynton. Boynton. Says, this man loves making news so fair, he does not want a woman. I trust him. I'd like to see the speech. I think I found it. I think that was the speech. It stinks when they show it ruins the wardrobe. Even with mandatory conscription, their after personnel are neither that vast nor sufficiently mobilized enough to constitute anywhere near half that number. Add defections estimates to that too. Fake news? Maybe. Why won't the Duran bring other alternative voices like Steve Turkey or Victor David Hansen on? It's way too one-sided. I don't know. Maybe they tried. Maybe those people wouldn't go on. I don't know. I mean, they don't seem like the type of guys that won't take other people, that don't want alternate views, though. They don't seem that way to me. Let me fix Bella's camera here. I'm going to have to hold on. I got to get her thing here. Take me a second. There you go, girl. There you go, baby. There you go. International Institute for Strategic Studies 2023 report lists Artesh and RGC active around 570, 350 reserves, excludes police and Basij. I think the Basij is what I was thinking of as the name of the 12-year-olds. Being Steve Turley? Yeah, Turley spell check got me. Okay. I like Hansen and Turley. Saw they were sending 20 more tankers through today. Don't know if they're gifts, though. Victor just got out of surgery. Yeah. Yeah, well, I try. I try to see if she's the new Atlas guy is like some sort of China shill. Yeah. Well, I'm starting to wonder where, the stuff that Tucker's been saying about China and Muslims, I'm like, what is going on, Tucker? Where do you get off saying this stuff? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's really nuts, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So yeah, Trump says Cuba's next. U.S. President Trump on Friday said Cuba's next during a speech at the Investment Forum in Miami, during which he touted the successes of U.S. military action in Venezuela and Iran. Yes, I'm starting to wonder why New York City forgot 9/11. Yeah, they forgot, all right. They sure did. It's Rubio is on point. Yeah. Tucker is for sale and will say whatever. That's what it seems like, honestly. Like, I don't understand. Like, I thought he was great when he was on Fox. I really do. The Besieged were notorious for two-man motorcycle teams, one driver and one gunner, do drive-bys and gang cartel-style tactics. Isn't that what they called the kids, though, during the Iran-Iraq War? Wasn't that the 12-year-olds? Isn't that what they called them? They were bringing, like, kids in? Imagine if Bondi was Rubio. Oh, God, imagine. While the president did not specify what precisely he plans to do with the island nation, he has frequently said he believes the government in Havana, facing a severe economic crisis, is on the verge of collapse. His administration has opened up negotiations with elements of the Cuban leadership in recent weeks, while Trump himself has hinted that kinetic action could be possible. Yeah, the puppy got stuck on autopilot scratch. Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, she does that when she's like, oh, I don't know. I built this great military, I said. You'll never have to use it, but sometimes you have to use it. And Cuba is next, by the way. But pretend I didn't say that. Pretend I didn't. Like, look, I would love for Cuba to be a democracy, people voting and people be free and be able to trade with them, and Cuba would be a great place for look at the Bahamas, look at all the resorts and stuff and all the islands and stuff. Cuba would be. It's such a much bigger island with other features. There's mountains and all this other stuff. Cuba would be a great tourist destination. It really would be. They just got to get the commies out. That's it. Get the commies out. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel has acknowledged that the country is still in talks with the U.S. in a bid to avert potential military confrontation. Cuba's economy has been battered by disruption in oil imports, which it relies on to run power plants and transportation. Yes, I am 100% foreign policy right now. Remember Bikini? What, Bikini Atoll? You talking about Bikini Atoll where they did all the nuclear tests? Or are you talking about Bimini? I think Tucker has gotten a bit out there. I have quit listening to him. Yeah, Lynn, he's got way over his skis. Trump needs to stop teasing the Cubans here in Florida. I'm watching different groups running out of patience. Stop giving them just a tip. Either pull out or go all the way in. Yeah, we don't want another Bay of Pigs. We don't. Prior to the U.S. operations to capture now deposed Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro in January, Venezuela had provided much of Cuba's oil needs. Now, but Caracas' new government, under pressure from Washington, has ended those shipments. Earlier in March, Trump had said Cuba may be subject to a friendly takeover before adding it may not be a friendly takeover. So, which would it be? Friendly or not friendly? Interesting. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And then GB News. There's a reason your country is not having power and has nothing to do with America, Cuba. Donald Trump names next country he will target as part of his Peace Through Strength plan. What's this going to be?
Want true peace of mind for your home's comfort? The Purified Experience Maintenance Program.
Thank you. You've been really honest about how disappointed you are in Sir Keir Starmer, particularly in relation to Iran. So I'm curious about your phone calls with him, how easy they might be. And also, were you surprised by...
Are we talking about Starmer?
Yes. I know you're surprised by how weak...
I think he's a lovely man. I do. I think he's a lovely man. But I think he did something that was shocking. He didn't want to help us. And maybe in particular that country, we were the longest bond, the longest ally. Australia, too. Australia was not great. I was a little surprised by Australia. I wouldn't say anybody was great other than the 5 countries in the Middle East. We never really had very much support. We spend trillions of dollars supporting countries, and this is Little League. This isn't the big league deal. This is sort of Little League pool for us. This was Look, we decimated them in a period of a week. In the first week, it was over. In the first few days, it was over. I think the Navy took us 3 days to essentially annihilate it. They weren't there. So if there's ever a big one, which I hope there's not, but if there's ever a big one, I don't think they're going to be there. And that's not fair. And we have to remember that as a country, because we spend trillions of dollars protecting Europe, protecting the countries of NATO. They weren't there for us for small time. This is small time. You know what? Venezuela is a big deal, but it's not the big one. They weren't there. So what makes you think they'd be there if we needed them for something? And your prime minister was not there, as you know. He was there after we won. He said, we'd like to send some ships. I said, we already won. We don't need them anymore.
But can you explain why he was reluctant to help?
Why what?
Why he was reluctant to help with Iran?
He didn't have to. I didn't ask him. I just said, just tell me, no. I mean, we're always going to be there, or at least we were. I don't know about anymore, to be honest with you. I would have to be honest. We were always there when they needed help. We always would have been there when they needed help. I mean, think of it. We're there to protect Europe from Russia. In theory, it doesn't affect us. We have an ocean, big, fat, beautiful ocean. But we're there to protect NATO, to protect them from Russia. But they're not there to protect us. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. I tell you, a lot of people were big NATO people. I was never big. It was okay. I got them to pay 5%. By the way, they haven't paid it yet. You know that. You know, I got them to pay 5% from 2% to 5%. They didn't pay it yet. I got them to pay up to 2% because they weren't paying the 2%. Then I got them to pay 5%, which they should be at. And we had a lot of, oh, that was great, great. Oh, only Trump could do it. But the problem is they haven't paid. Because if you look at the numbers, they haven't paid yet. So we were there for them, but they were not there for us. Did we need them? No. I never thought we needed them. I was more doing a test. I said, I really would love to have you come up. Bring your boats. You can sail through the beautiful Hormuz Straits, and you can protect people that are being shot at. They didn't do it. And that's small potatoes. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, does it affect the state visit with the King that you're going to have in April? Are you looking forward to that?
With the King?
With the King coming here?
No. He's a friend of mine. He's a great gentleman. As you know, he honored me and our country. He really honored our country. But we had an amazing time. I've known him as Prince Charles. I know him as King Charles. I'm proud of him. He's fighting a tough battle. He's tough. I think he's a fantastic. It has nothing to do with that. It's different. But he's going to be here very soon, as you know. We're going to have a state dinner. It's going to be great. But I was very disappointed when the Prime Minister said, I won't be able to. It started with the island that the indigenous have claimed away from your country. And for some reason, you went for it. And all of a sudden, indigenous people that never saw the place, they never saw it. He was afraid that we would do something to insult, because he's a liberal. That's the way they think. And when we needed the island to land that beautiful B-2 bomber, we were told we can't use it. We'd have to fly back to Missouri, which is a 17-hour flight, as opposed to a couple of hours. And I said, you gotta be kidding. Not good. They made a big mistake.
Well, I didn't know that. So they did not allow us to fly to B-2s to Diego Garcia. Did we take him to Guam instead? What's it say? Rapport? Yeah, we're gonna have some rapport Hodges. We're gonna have some rapport Hodges. Anyone know that movie? Yeah, the difference is Trump is, unlike other presidents, he is sober. Yes. Is ridiculous in his rapport of the country. Rapport Hodges, you know what that is? I love this president and his group. You know what? I've watched many in Miami say he's hablando mucha manera y no hace nada. Talking a lot of shit and not doing anything. Cubans are desperate. Ice House says, my kids got so much this tax season with Trump in. Yes. Swedish for scratches. Rapport. Yeah. Rapport Hodges. No rapport Hodges. Es también. And this guy just knows balls. Yes, maybe. The only one who needs to stop paying us is us. Yes, the only ones who need to stop paying is us. That's right. That's what I say. So the president quickly tried to roll back what he said. No, he didn't. President Trump announced that Cuba's next after seemingly letting it slip his ambitions against the communist Caribbean regime. The U.S. leader told the audience, pretend I didn't say that. He was joking. He was joking, man. It was a joke. He outlined a philosophy behind Washington's foreign military interventions at the Future Initiative, a Saudi-backed investment summit in Miami. He celebrated peace through strength doctrine and acknowledged that whilst he campaigned on a premise military force would never be necessary, sometimes you have to use it. But pretend I didn't say that. Despite his apparent attempt to retract the comment, the president immediately doubled down, reiterating to the audience, Cuba's next. I watch a lot of the Lotus Eaters, Sargon and the crew. The Brits get uppity about us bashing their weakness on the military side. Sad to see, really. Can't handle Trump being cheeky. They let their Navy, I mean, think about this. 100 years ago, the British Navy was the most powerful Navy in the world. Now, what do they have? One aircraft carrier? And it's not really, it's a jump carrier or something? Yeah. No, when I say my kids got tax money, it was $1,000 per kid to go into savings. If you skipped it, you're dumb. Oh yeah, the Trump cash. Yeah, I know. My grandkids both got that. Both got $1,000 for their Trump accounts. Siempre. Sounds familiar. You're talking about the poor Hodges? That's from Colors. It was, rest in peace. Robert Duvall playing Hodges and a young Sean Penn playing Pac-Man. I can't remember his name. Danny something or other. Danny. The two police officers in Colors. I am a nightmare walking, a psychopath stalking, kicking my jungle, just a gangster, walking in light like a firecracker, kicks my fuse. And dead is a death back, the colors I choose, red or blue, colors of blood. It just don't matter. Suckers die for your life because it just don't matter. Two baby toy carriers, both of which are falling apart because maintenance funds diverted to migrant care. Yes, that movie. Colors. Hodges. Robert Duvall, GOAT, Ice-T. Yo, what's up? That's right. That's where that. Some rapport. We're going to have some rapport, Hodges. Adios mio. This is not the first time that Mr. Trump, President Trump to you scums, has suggested that the U.S. could take Cuba next. Yeah. OG. All their accounts are already up to plus 6K. I got news for you. I think earlier in March, he indicated Cuba might face a friendly takeover by adding ominously, it may not be a friendly takeover. Yeah, on that, a bunch of other people said they were matching the money, like different people, billionaires and different groups, different banks and different corporations said, we're going to match it, we're going to match it. So the accounts, going to work out really good. U.S. leader also suggested they would soon have an honor of taking Cuba. Yes, it's great. It is. It's great. Yeah, it's a lot of money. They said they're, so it's why this wasn't done before. I don't know. Yeah, give me my rabbit. Give me my rabbit, man. Yeah, that was a very young Wayans brothers. I think which one was that? Damon Wayans. He was. I can't remember what his name was in the thing, but he was messing around with the rabbit, and then. He says, we just say no to drugs. Latest development, at least 12 troops injured. Venezuela has previously been Cuba's primary source of petroleum. However, following the U.S.-backed operation, they halted the shipments. Cuban president has acknowledged his government's engaged in discussion with Washington. The economy has deteriorated significantly, largely due to disruptions in oil. The Trump administration has reportedly initiated negotiations with elements of Cuba's leadership in recent weeks as the Caribbean nation faces mounting economic pressures. President Trump also used the Miami forum to criticize the apparent lack of support from NATO allies and their absence from negotiations with Iran, describing it as a tremendous mistake. I thought I could go all night just listening, but I failed. I'm glad to know you're here. I was wondering where you were. They just weren't there, he stated, before suggesting alliances in action could reduce America's obligations to the alliance. We would have always been there for them, but now, based on their actions, I guess we don't have to be, do we? Russian shadow fleet steams through the English Channel despite care servers' threats to seize it. What's it say? Joe Biden's what? Wait, what? What is this? Wait, what does it say? Joe Biden's. I'm gonna have to pull this. Joe Biden's. Joe Biden's bodyguard shoots himself at airport while accompanying former First Lady. Oh, we're going to have to do this story. I'm sorry. This story's going to have to. We're going to have to do this story. We're going to have to do this story. Hold on. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go back just to see if there's anything I missed, but we're going to have to do this story. However, following the U.S.-backed operation to remove Maduro from power, the new Venezuelan shipments have stopped. Supplies significantly larger due to severe disruptions. Poorly initiated negotiations. Wow. Sounds like a breaking story. Yes, sir. Is that a breaking news? I think we just have breaking news. Why would that be there for them if they're not there for us? Okay. So, yeah, so it looks like that might be a problem. All right. And then this is Trump sells Iran war at Saudi investment for Miami, warning Cuba's next. Was doing chores, ran back, and what the fuck's that about Jill bodyguard offing himself? Yeah, we're going to get to that. I just saw that. Must have been using a SID. Jill's bodyguard shot himself to get out of watching him. Yeah. We're gonna do that. I didn't see that story anywhere else, so I'm gonna talk about it in a second. So it was a Saudi business forum, and Trump said Cuba's going to be next. He was very critical of NATO. He deems it's not helping him with Washington's war with Iran. This happened a few days ago? Okay. For 47 years, Iran's been a bully of the Middle East, but they're not a bully any longer. They're on the run. Trump reiterated that if the U.S. had not knocked the hell out of Iran, the country would have a nuclear weapon within 2 to 4 weeks. Despite his insistence, the U.S. bombing of Iran sites last year set its program back years. Rapport found it. The correct spelling of the word is rapport, R-A-P-P-O-R-T, which means an understanding, harmonious relationship. A loan word from the French. There's no such word as rapport except for an acronym for report. Report output retrieval system, which is a term used chiefly in government or military jargon and illegal. Jill's Secret Service protection, the best and brightest. F the French. All right, so he doesn't think he would be kissing my ass. He really didn't, though. It's just another American president that was a loser with a country that was going downhill, but now he has to be nice to me. All right. So you are a Muslim now. Yeah. We got this story is here. Joe. No. What are you doing? No. Joe Biden's bodyguard shoots himself at the airport while accompanying former First Lady. I want to watch this.
We hear about this auto pen, and for British viewers who don't know what that is, this is the notion that Joe Biden was signing certain documents, and particularly executive orders, not himself, but via an auto pen that would mimic his signature. Donald Trump is trolling that concept today. So there is let's see if we've got the pictures of it. There is a corridor in the White House.
Outside in the colonnade leading up to the West Wing. And he created that, by the way. He is doing this all over the White House to really enhancing the beauty and the optics of the White House. So he created this walk of fame that comes from the residence of the White House into the West Wing along the colonnade there. And as you can see, your viewers can see, instead of a picture of Biden, it was the auto pen, obviously, to your point, a troll of Biden that he really wasn't the president, the auto pen was.
The left have not got a sense of humor about this on social media. I mean, what I do love about that is it's just funny. It's hilarious.
And also, to your point, he knows how to get them. They immediately, reflexively, they blow their minds at everything. He literally knows how to push their buttons.
Is that his idea? Or is it some millennial?
You know what?
In there?
I don't know. It could, but I will tell you, the funny thing is, having been in the room with him, sometimes it's an iterative process where someone says something and he goes, you know what would be even funnier? So I give him the benefit of the doubt on this, but also he's doing it. He goes, you know what would be even funnier? So I give him the benefit of the doubt on this, but also he's the only one that can execute that idea. So whether or not it was originally.
All right. So yeah. So that's that thing. But we're going to get the story in a second. So what we got here, it says, stop talking about Iranian nukes, Mr. President. You don't need to now. It sounds cringe. Yeah, he should. Some of the times he just says, Israel has been said 2 to 4 weeks for decades. As a boy who cries wolf, I no longer believe. Do I own a Bible? Yes, I own a Bible. Retort rapport is a Portuguese term, maybe. Comprendo, funny because it's true. Yes, see. It's funny, but old as fuck. Yeah, this is old. I don't know why it's with this story that's, today, the 28th. The agent accidentally fired his weapon outside Philadelphia International Airport. Bodyguard assigned to protect Jill Biden, the former First Lady in the U.S., has shot himself in the leg at an airport. U.S. Secret Service agent injured himself just after 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time at Philadelphia International Airport. Yeah, Trump does have a great rapport with the country. The agency, which provides protection to U.S. political leaders and their families, released a statement confirming the incident, but did not mention Dr. Jill Biden. Why does it say Dr. Biden? Come on. She can't write prescriptions or anything. Knock it off with this stuff. Secret Service spokesman says on Friday morning, just after 8:30, an ongoing U.S. Secret Service special agent suffered a non-life-threatening injury following a negligent discharge while handling a service weapon at the Philadelphia International Airport during a productive assignment. We were just being family chatting. Yeah. No, it's Jim's token, just here to translate and derail the show. I'm Jim's token. You're not my token. I don't have a token. I don't believe in that. There's no impact to the Protectees movement, and they were not present at the time of the incident. An eyewitness told CBS News it appeared the firearm went off when the Secret Service agent was attempting to get back in the SUV. Philadelphia Police Department Corporal Jasmine Colon Riley said the agent accidentally discharged his firearm while traveling in an unmarked SUV. The agent was transported to the Penn Presbyterian Medical Center after emergency services arrived to the scene. Secret Service said the Secret Service Office of Professional Responsibility will be reviewing the facts and circumstances of the incident. No other individuals were injured in the incident. Dr. Biden appeared Wednesday at the opening night of the off-Broadway play Public Charge, written by her former chief of staff, Julissa Reneso, an autobiographical play detailing her experience working to release American aid worker Alan Gross from a Cuban prison. Oh, what do you know? So Cuba's bad. Is there anything else? Dr. Biden made history when she became the first First Lady to continue full-time employment while in her role. What was her full-time employment? What? She taught English to university students at Northern Virginia Community College, both as second lady when her husband Joe Biden was vice president and during his presidency. She was also the oldest first lady to enter the role. After her husband withdrew from re-election and defeated Kamala Harris, she was alleged to be increasingly involved in then-president's decision-making. Yeah, she's the one making the decisions. We didn't vote for her. Nobody voted for Biden anyway, but whatever. Alexandra Pelosi, journalist and daughter of Nancy Pelosi, compared her to Lady Macbeth, something the former First Lady considered very hurtful. She is set to release a book titled The View from the East Wing, a memoir set to be published in June of this year. Yeah. Whoopi thought she was a medical doctor. Yeah, Whoopi's an idiot. Yeah. I know I have a military sense of humor. To offend me is something very strange and dramatically wrong, has to be said. Do you ever think why I'm talking about this stuff? I'm Set. You're talking about Set like the god of Egypt? Set? Is that who you're talking about? Whoopi is a certifiable injury. Set in life. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I'm set in life. I'm not done, retired. Me? I don't know. I want to inform people. That's all. I'm trying to keep people informed. I don't know. Gives me something to do. I don't know. That's why I'm doing it. She is, so in it, she will fully discuss her feelings around the end of her husband's re-election campaign. Mr. Biden announced his diagnosis of prostate cancer after he left the White House. On October 20th, he completed a course of radiation therapy in Pennsylvania. It's unclear if he needs further treatment. So that's that. All right. Let me open some more tabs here. I want to please remind everybody to please hit the like button if you haven't already. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I'm trying to do these shows as often as possible. I know there was a while where I was doing them almost every night, if not every night. But, some things happen. And I'm doing the shows every time it's humanly possible for me. So they will be. I think what's happening now is we're in a stage where at least 1 or 2 nights a week I will be streaming earlier in the night. I'll be streaming at like 7:15 because I'll be getting raids from Robert Gavea. He's been so wonderful. And so for the nights that I can, when I'm able to do that, when I don't have any grandkids here and I can start at 7, I will do that and get raided from him. And then, but other nights it's going to be like, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock when I can do it. Thank you so much for doing this. Well, I appreciate that. 4 more, and that forces a vote. Okay. Officially, a sitting member of U.S. Congress, Rep. Rose of Tennessee, is calling for the BLM supporter Democrat John Thune to be removed from power at once. 1 hour ago. 4 more, and that forces a vote. It says, I'm 39, and my kids will need people like you. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks to MGT and that guy from Florida Gates. No, that's not Thune. I think you're talking about Johnson. Johnson's in the House. That's the. Wait, what is this? Oh, what's this? It says, why acting on Iran first could. Let's hear what this guy says.
On the right, America's military campaign against Iran's rulers is being condemned as a war of choice, not a war of necessity. I'm here to make the case for wars of choice. My argument is simple. Delaying wars doesn't ensure peace. It often produces wars that are more costly in blood and treasure. World War II is just the most obvious example. A war of choice is a conflict we wage to achieve vital goals before our enemies push our backs against the wall. If they see we have both the means and the will to defeat them, that may deter them. Nothing else will. For decades, we allowed the threat from Tehran to grow. They built nuclear facilities under mountains. They funded terrorist militias across the region. They plotted assassinations on American and European soil. And after last June's 12-day war, they didn't just replace the missiles and drones they lost, they added thousands more. Now, here's an odd assertion. In a way, we were lucky that in October 2023, Hamas set off a confrontation before Tehran and its many proxies were fully ready. Had that not happened, Iran's nuclear program would have
Is the volume better now?
To mature, its missile and drone arsenal would have hugely expanded, and its nuclear-armed allies in China, Russia, and North Korea would have grown bolder. Of both the left and the right, America's military campaign against Iran's rulers is being condemned as a war of choice, not a war of necessity. I'm here to make the case for wars of choice. My argument is simple. Delaying wars doesn't ensure peace. It often produces wars that are more costly in blood and treasure. World War II is just the most obvious example. A war of choice is a conflict we wage to achieve vital goals before our enemies push our backs against the wall. If they see we have both the means and the will to defeat them, that may deter them. Nothing else will. For decades, we allowed the threat from Tehran to grow. They built nuclear facilities under mountains. They funded terrorist militias across the region. They plotted assassinations on American and European soil. And after last June's 12-day war, they didn't just replace the missiles and drones they lost, they added thousands more. Now, here's an odd assertion. In a way, we were lucky that in October 2023, Hamas set off a confrontation before Tehran and its many proxies were fully ready. Had that not happened, Iran's nuclear program would have continued to mature, its missile and drone arsenal would have hugely expanded, and its nuclear-armed allies in China, Russia, and North Korea would have grown bolder. Eventually, we would have faced a war of necessity with an uncertain
I started it
outcome.
over.
Great.
I started it over because the volume was all screwed up. I didn't realize the volume was turned on. I tried to boost it, and then I wanted to correct it. So I did start it over. And then I got this Ice House says, let me pray, Lord, put your healing hands on this man. Let him be safe and know he's protected. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you. I did start over. I started it over. Much gooder. Thank you. All good. All right, good. Thank you. That's to you, sir. Thank you. Can't tell me it's not a word. All right. Oh, I want to point out, everybody, we're at 2 hours, 54 minutes, so we got about 10 minutes left on the goal. 10 minutes on the goal to hit the $58. But I'm not going to end at exactly the time. It's going to go a little longer. And the way it works is no matter what, if I'm still streaming and the money comes in, we add the extra hour. That's how it goes. Hank says, welcome, people's animals. I'm going to hit the sack. Have a great night. Thanks, mods. Thanks, Jim. Well, good night. Thank you so much. So, yeah. So what do you guys think about
Nations
this
can
guy?
decline into impotence and irrelevance with astonishing speed. Some of our oldest friends in Europe serve as cautionary examples. John F. Kennedy put it well. There are risks and costs to action, he said, but they are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction. He was right then. He's right now.
Oh, cool. All right. So, we'll pause this. So let's see. Federal judge. Hold on. A federal judge. Why won't let me do this? A federal judge. There's no way to get that off of there. A federal judge has sided with Minnesota in a ruling that the state's policy of offering in-state tuition rates. This is a new story. In-state tuition rates to illegal aliens, not illegal immigrant college students. It says legal aliens. Sorry, no greenback stuff. No worries. It is what it is. It is what it is. Hey, Hamburger Helper, thanks for being here. Did you show Trump to Navy quote? I mean, how do they just argue against him when their Navy is in the shop and can't get one ship going? I don't know, man. Doesn't make any sense. So they sided with Minnesota that the state's policy of offering in-state tuition to illegal aliens isn't trumped by federal law. The federal law generally states that you can't offer special rate to illegal immigrants who reside in a state unless they also offer the same rate to be paid by anyone, including those from other U.S. states. But U.S. District Judge Catherine Menendez, who I will point out has been overturned 3 times already because she has TDS and she's crazy, said that the law ties special rates to a student having attending high school in the state. It doesn't specifically require state residency. And because that means anyone who lives outside the state could qualify, it doesn't run afoul of federal law. That's bullshit. Under a Minnesota statutory scheme, non-residents can and do qualify for resident tuition by living in a neighboring state and attending Minnesota high schools, attending a Minnesota boarding school, or attending and graduating from a Minnesota high school before moving out of state. Here's the thing. That's a lie. It has to be available to anyone, not just some people. Anyone in the U.S. has to be. So this is going to get overturned too. This is going to, cheers, Bella and Jim. Thank you. This is going to get overturned too. The ruling is the latest string of losses for Trump in an attempt to wield federal power to suppress state policies that offer special leniency to illegal immigrants. Yeah, because it's against the law. Orders to deny sanctuary jurisdiction federal funding have been blocked by other courts. And an attempt to shut down New York's law prohibiting arrests at state courthouses failed last year. Yeah, but let's see what happens when it gets beyond the district court level. Because every time it goes past the district court level, Trump seems to win. The administration has sought some kind of knocking down of state tuition policies in Texas and Oklahoma, but those were instances where the state officials agreed with the feds and entered into consent decrees. Judge Menendez said the Oklahoma case didn't get into the merits of federal law. The Texas case did, but Judge Menendez said the state law differed from Minnesota's law because Texas specifically tied tuition rates to state residency rather than school location. This is going to get overturned because Minnesota public universities continue to offer in-state tuition and scholarships to some immigrants. The decision followed a series of clashes. The federal lawsuit named Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison, and it said Minnesota law discriminates against U.S. citizens because it provides in-state tuition and scholarships to students living in the U.S. illegally if they attended a Minnesota high school for 3 years. And U.S. citizens who attended schools outside of the state cannot receive the same benefits. State generally set higher tuition rates for out-of-state students. The federal government said those state statutes flagrantly violate the federal law that prevents states from providing preferential benefits to immigrants in the U.S. illegally, regardless of whether or not they meet residency requirements. No state can be allowed to treat Americans like second-class citizens in their own country by offering financial benefits to illegal aliens. Menendez said the Justice Department misinterpreted the law passed by Democratic former President Bill Clinton because anyone who attended a Minnesota high school for at least 3 years are granted the same public benefits regardless of where they have U.S. residency or immigration status. She also said the federal government didn't have standing to sue the state attorney general or governor since neither have the power to change the state laws. Today we defeated another one of Donald Trump's efforts to misconstrue federal law. The funding for immigrants without legal status represents an investment in for our state to do everything we can to encourage more educated workforce. The department has filed similar lawsuits against Kentucky and Texas. Florida ended its in-state tuition eligibility for aliens living in the U.S. illegally, and at least 22 states and District of Columbia have laws or policies granting in-state benefits, according to the National Immigration Law Center. According to the center, at least 14 states, including Minnesota, allow illegal aliens to receive financial aid and scholarships on top of the in-state tuition. Taxes are federal. Public service is still under federal law. Yeah, getting up there. Somewhere else I saw where it explained it. I saw it somewhere because the law is actually called something else. All right. And then we got, I don't know, this might be the same story as earlier. I don't know, because this is a video of Trump blasting NATO.
I do want to hear more from President Trump yesterday, Melissa, talking about NATO. Have a listen.
I said 25 years ago that NATO's a paper tiger, but more importantly, that we'll come to their rescue, but they will never come to ours. That's why I'm so disappointed in NATO, because this was a test for NATO. This was a test. You can help us. You don't have to, but if you don't have, if you don't do that, we're going to remember. Just remember this in a number of months from now. Remember my statements.
Pretty threatening stuff there. Jim, you've covered U.S. national security for years. What do you make of his remarks?
Listen, it's a clear threat. President Trump has been quite public in his doubts about NATO for years, frankly. And going back to the first administration, some of his former senior advisors told me he came quite close to withdrawing from NATO in his first term. Prior to his second term, some of those same advisors said they would be worried about NATO in the second term. And we've already seen the splits. Just a few weeks ago, remember, there was practically a breaking point in the alliance when President Trump was insisting on taking the territory of another NATO ally, Denmark, in Greenland. And it was only really a truce declared. The president's ambitions have gone nowhere. And in addition to that, of course, President Trump has said repeatedly, Ukraine is not his war, not America's war, despite the...
All they did was prove to us, by what they did with Diego Garcia, that we have to take Greenland. Because the fact that we have the rights to bases there, we can bring troops there, if they can just tell us, no, you can't use it for this, that we don't want you to use it for this, then we have to take Greenland. We are NATO, yeah. Like, what is NATO without us? What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Enormous threat it poses to Europe, and despite the enormous threat that Russia poses directly to Europe and to those same NATO allies. So the president, in that language there, though he has pushed NATO certainly from his direction on Greenland, on reducing U.S. support for Ukraine and questioning the alliance as a whole, seems to be creating a justification now by saying that because NATO nations did not listen to his request to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz, that they're going to pay for it, right? I mean, he after those comments you played, he used the phrase "never forget," with all that historical significance to describe that. I've been speaking to officials from NATO allies for the last several months about their concerns about his commitment to NATO. They are real. They don't believe the U.S. is the ally it once was, that they could rely on it, and I can only imagine those words.
Yeah, that they can rely, they can take advantage of us and rely on us. Yeah, that they could take advantage of us and rely on us. That's what they want. Yeah, that's what they want. Yeah, we're not the pushovers that we could just, they could do whatever they want and we're going to keep pumping a million. Yeah, the EU loves pumping billions into Ukraine. It's a fact. Yeah, fun fact: everywhere NATO peacekeepers go, crime increases dramatically. Is that UN peacekeepers too, or just NATO? NATO peacekeepers. NATO is the the blue hats are the UN, right? The blue helmets are the UN. Let's see what they do. Remove all sanctions on Russia and stop giving intel to Ukraine and tell the EU to fuck off. That would be that would be a problem for Ukraine. Really would be. Probably be a fish out of water. Yeah. Trump blasts NATO for failing to support U.S. in conflict. Why would we be there for them if they're not there for us? I agree. President Trump strongly criticized NATO allies that have not assisted the United States and Israel in its joint military operation against Iran. Yeah, the blue helmets are the UN. That's what I thought. The blue muffins. That's what I thought. Suggesting the U.S. may reconsider its involvement in the alliance. While speaking at the Future Investment Initiative in Miami Beach, sponsored by Saudi Arabia, we're very disappointed by the way with NATO. They didn't come to our aid. He mentioned French President Emmanuel Macron by name. explaining that he offered to send aid after the conflict was over, which Trump found unhelpful. He added that the alliance made a big mistake by distancing their countries from the conflict. We spent hundreds of billions of dollars a year on NATO, protecting them, and we would have always been there for them, but now, based on our actions, I guess we don't have to be. Why would we be there for them if they're not there for us? His comments echoed his opinion from the Truth Social Post. NATO nations have done absolutely nothing to help with this lunatic nation of Iran. The USA needs nothing from NATO, but never forget, this is a very important point in time. Yeah, I agree. The lack of assistance from European allies seemingly confirms a long-held negative opinion of Trump's. I've always said NATO's a paper tiger, and I've always said we help NATO, but they'll never help us. Last week he posted, without the USA, NATO is a paper tiger. They didn't want to join the fight to stop a nuclear-powered Iran. Republicans were blue. Yeah, they switched. Republicans were blue and the Democrats were red, but then I don't know when they switched colors, but they just decided to switch colors one day. France sent soldiers to protect Greenland from the U.S. Okay. ICE PDX now has black bloc chucking things at the building, destroying security cameras, graffiti covering the front of the building. Looks like we surrendered. Really? Maybe I'll pull some of that up in a minute. Holy crap! President just nuked NATO from orbit. I think
we don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. We have the strongest military by far in the world. We don't need them. But it's interesting. I'm almost doing it in some cases, not because we need them, but because I want to find out how they react. Because I've been saying for years that if we ever did need them, they won't be there. Not all of them, but they won't be there. I was very surprised with the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom, 2 weeks ago, I said, why don't you send some ships over? And he really didn't want to do it. I said, you don't want to do it. We've been with you. You're our oldest ally. And we spend a lot of money on, NATO and all of these things to protect you. I mean, we're protecting them. We're working with them on Ukraine. Ukraine's thousands of miles away, separated by a vast ocean. We don't have to do that, but we did it. Well, Biden did it. I mean, I have to be honest with you. It's Biden.
Okay. I'm looking for some video. Oh, this is the thing I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about this. Make sure I get to it. So I'm going to do it right now. So remember there was a mass shooting at a birthday party, a Sweet 16 party in Alabama. The news decided to standardize on the colors in the 50s. I'll say it again. 4 years he has to change the world. Yeah. Family members of the victims speak out over the plea deal for the mass shooters who killed 4 and injured 25 in Alabama. The 5 men were sentenced to just 5 years, with credit for time served. The DA on the case is Mike Segrest, and the judge was Steve Perryman. You want a single cam stream or one of the aggregates? Tommy Boy restricted to 3 blocks away, so he's home streaming. Really? I don't know. I mean, anything. I'll pull up anything if you put a link in. I'll pop it up. But yeah, so check this out. So there was a bunch of mass shooting at a Sweet 16 party.
Today, 5 men accepted a plea deal. Willie Brown Jr., Wilson Hill Jr., Travis McCullough, and Tyrese McCullough and Sherman Peters all pleaded guilty to 3 counts of reckless murder and 25 counts of assault. They were given a 20-year split sentence by Judge Perryman on the most serious charges, meaning they will serve 5 years and then be on probation for 15. Collins says he doesn't think the prosecutor in this case, District Attorney Mike Segrest, went far enough.
I want him to know that I fought for him. His mother fought for him. His community fought for him. Unfortunately, we didn't get the justice that we wanted.
District Attorney Mike Segrest says, according to Alabama law, the 5 men sentenced today will be credited for time served. That means they could be out in about 2 years. Reporting from the Tallapoosa County Courthouse, I'm Amy Heibels, CBS 42 News.
A 6th person was granted youthful offender status, so his records are sealed. We have tried to talk with District Attorney Mike Segrest after today's plea hearing. We are waiting to hear back.
Yeah. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Reckless murder. That's ridiculous. Yeah. 5 people dead or something like that, or 7 people dead, all these hundreds of people injured, and they got 5 years. 5 years. 5 years. And they're back out to do it some more. And the other one got useful offender, so they got nothing. Justice. Yeah, this ain't justice. This is not justice, man. This is not justice at all. Not justice at all. Let's see here. Bookmarks. Oh, this is interesting. some of these things here. Muslim Brotherhood saying they're trying to take over Florida.
There's nearly 7 million American Muslims right now, alhamdulillah. Let's take gratitude in the fact that we're here in the great state of Florida. Part of power building is building a pipeline of leaders. I want to see, inshallah, one day governor of the state of Florida is a Muslim. Everybody say inshallah. The House has Muslims in there. Say inshallah. Senators, Muslim senators, say inshallah.
Muslims are men who defend themselves, they defend their religion, they defend their principles, what they believe in. They don't apologize about jihad. They're not afraid of jihad. It's a part of who we are. The Muslim is an individual who, part of his rojula, being a man, is not our wives do jihad, we do jihad.
There's nearly 7 million.
Oh, it's interesting, right? But so we're supposed to not. We got this thing about Eric Swalwell. Rep. Eric Swalwell is the latest demon rat to confirm that the shutdown is about defunding ICE and eliminating ICE. I don't want to fund ICE. I want to abolish them. This follows his pledge to arrest ICE and take away their licenses and bar them from jobs. Now, this is what this fucking clown. And so he's very upset because the FBI is reopening the investigation into Fang Fang. And they're going to release all the information. Black Muslims might be the most demented, maybe. Muslims have a religion of lies and deceit. Portland Andy is there on the ground with Daily Discourse with Arturo, also on Rumble. Some streams coming off X and Instagram, which I don't have. All right, I'm going to do this real quick. We're going to go this way and do this real quick. And we'll share this and we'll see. Well, this is what's going on there. This is what's going on in Portland right now.
Sandy getting out of there. He was boot scooting and boogieing.
You see, it's the same stuff. Just keeps happening night after night. So that's what's going on in Portland. Same crap. They need to do something about it. They really do. They need to stop. This is a jaw-dropping betrayal. White House Anti-Fraud Task Force chair reveals that Biden's administration turned off fraud protections. Check this out.
Said that the Biden administration turned off the fraud protections. Why would your predecessors do that?
You're going to have to ask them. The excuse that I often heard at the beginning was that they turned it off because of COVID, and they didn't want people in COVID not to get money that they were entitled to, but they just kept it off. And so one of the first tasks that all of the agency members of the task force have been given by me is that they have to write a report that is going to explain what the Biden administration did for 4 years to perpetuate fraud and what we've done immediately to turn all those systems back on. And that's one of the first things we're trying to get a handle on is how bad did it get? Why did it get that way? Who was responsible for that? And what have we done to at least turn those systems back on? But then there's a lot more to do. A lot of these agencies need to develop technological solutions to automate fraud preventions. With the right type of data, a lot of our fraud assessments can be made automatically. You don't necessarily need a human sort of checking every individual thing. You can create automated systems that can flag potential fraudulent payments, and that's the way you really stop the fraud. It's not just prosecutions, although those are incredibly important. There aren't enough prosecutors in America to recover all the fraudulently taken money. The way to really stop the fraud, the way to really protect the American taxpayer is to keep it in the agency, to prevent it from going out the door, and that's what we're going to help the agencies do is build up better systems, automatic systems to prevent fraud, to detect fraud, and to work with the Department of Justice to go after the people who do get the money through fraud.
Wow. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. All the fraud. Reporter Will Kane confronts Demon Rat Colorado race rep Jason Crow on the TSA shutdown.
You're doing this all to keep illegal immigrants in America.
If you would let me explain, I'll explain to you, right? Our problem is they're deporting American citizens. They're grabbing people off the streets without hearings. They're murdering Americans in the streets. You saw
That's
the
fucking
video
lies.
too.
They
They're
haven't
running
deported
around with
any U.S.
masks.
citizens.
That needs to stop. American civil liberties need to be protected. They need to start acting like any other legitimate law enforcement organization. That needs to happen. In the meantime, let's have a vote on everything else.
I don't want to end on a
We're
sour
ready.
note, Congressman, but the thing is, you keep painting this dystopic picture of America that isn't the lives of most Americans. And I'm not here to say that everything ICE has ever done is perfect. There have been bad mistakes that have been made. But this is also the week where we saw an American college student gunned down in Chicago by an illegal immigrant who had already been convicted of other crimes, who already committed other crimes. And he's just one of dozens of these stories that we do. And here you are keeping ICE from gathering that man up. And
No,
by the way,
actually, the
also not put in
opposite will.
TSA to
Actually, the
ensure that
opposite.
ICE doesn't grab that man up.
Actually, the opposite will. What Americans expect and deserve is an ICE that will focus on violent criminals.
No, we want ICE to focus on every illegal alien. Every single illegal alien has to go. Every one. Every single one has to go. Everyone. That's what we voted for. That's what we want.
Than 15% of people arrested and deported had a violent criminal history. They're focusing on everything but.
Well,
right? What we need to do is make sure they're focused on violent criminals and keeping our communities
At a
safe.
minimum.
That's what we want.
To be
That's
honest,
what
Congressman, you're
Americans
barking up
deserve.
the wrong tree there, because that's a minimum for me. How about deport all illegal immigrants? How about also looking at the legal immigrants who came in under fraud? You know, the one thing you guys say that I'll agree with is I do want comprehensive immigration reform, just different than the way you envision it. I want to make sure that
Well,
everyone
I don't
that
wanna
comes to this
devastate our
country,
economy.
I want to make sure that everybody's in
I-
this country
Will-
wants to be and loves to be an American. That seems to me the moderate and responsible
Well,
position.
come to Aurora, Colorado, and meet the immigrants and refugees who I represent, who are running businesses, running restaurants, staffing almost 50% of our construction work sites,
Great.
building our
That's great.
community.
As long as they're
These
legal
folks
and
want
they love
and
America.
deserve.
That's
These folks
great.
want and
Legal,
deserve
love
the
America.
American dream and a pathway to citizenship. We need comprehensive reform to deliver that. We don't need to devastate our communities, and we don't need to devastate our economy.
Our communities are devastated because of the fucking illegal immigrants. What are you talking about? They've stole jobs from Americans. Try and talk to a kid, an American kid in his 20s, and see what they say about illegal immigrants. A lot of them have been convinced by the socialists and commies like Bernie and AOC and the rest of you fucking demon rats that all of a sudden it's somehow America's fault. No, it's American politicians' fault like you who have stolen their jobs and their future and given it away to illegal aliens who hate this fucking country and send the money out of fucking this country to begin with. Lying cocksucker.
Which, if you talk to small business owners, that's
We're
exactly
not
what
simply,
this mass
I gotta go,
deportation is
Congressman, but
doing.
we're not simply an economic unit. We're not a corporation. We're a nation. We're a country with laws and a culture. And it starts with ensuring that everyone here is a citizen of America.
That's right. That's right. That's what I say. Sorry, people. Oh, look at this. Here it is. Sedition caught on tape. An NGO literally had a DMV with permission from the DMV signing up illegal aliens to vote. What is this?
Don't they do that? Don't they do that inside?
Huh?
You register inside, don't you?
I mean, they allow us to do it over here because it looks like I don't know if they don't want to do anymore, but they authorize those.
It's only they check a box, that's all.
Why all the blue? No, the blue is nothing. It just this is an organization.
This is a non-GO,
Yeah.
a non-government organization.
Yeah, it's a non-government. It's mean in Spanish. My family in action.
Are you registered to vote?
Yes, ma'am. And update information, like when the people changes the updated affiliation party or address. We know party affiliation. We're not allowed to.
Oh, yeah. You know, party affiliation, your ass. They don't have a party, I'll say.
No,
Citizens?
ma'am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I wonder who funds this here.
You can Google it. 19142. This is our code organization. No, I cannot give you that because we have to. But you can search it.
But I want to tell you that most of the people that are coming, this was always packed. They're not even U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
So what do you have to sign up to vote? A driver's license?
No. You have to be a U.S. citizen. It's a felony.
But how do you prove it, though?
Oh, you have to trust in the people. If they
You have to trust in the people.
No, listen to me. If they lie,
I know it's a felony.
exactly.
I know
If
it's
they lie, you know what?
They're not arresting anybody in this country, hon.
Yes, they do.
No,
If they do the felony, and you're never gonna become a U.S. citizen if you do that felony. Never.
I know that.
Oh.
Never,
Yeah, but I
never,
mean,
ever.
what do I need to prove that I'm
Yeah, something tells me that she isn't illegal. I don't know. She doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know there's a bunch of people. Check us out. I can confirm that the 2 judicial officials who let Thomas Haynes, a man with 25 prior arrests and 100 charges, out of prison on a $10,000 bond a month before he killed a woman with his car are both demon rats. Meet Tasia McKinney and Judge Keith Smith, who signed an order of release. Less than 1 month after his release, Thomas Haynes ran a stop sign going 55 and smashed in the car with such force that threw 23-year-old Sophie Kipple from her car and killed her instantly. Sophie's 2 passengers were still in the car, and Haynes left them there and ran away on foot.
It was on this quiet side road that police say Thomas Haynes sped towards the busier plaza, blew this stop sign, and crashed into the Kipple's vehicle. Police said the driver ran from the scene, and we don't know which direction. They identified the suspect quickly, Thomas Haynes, based on the date of this warrant. Court records show Haynes is accused in a string of recent charges: breaking and entering, felony gun possession, larceny, and more. In fact, at the moment when he's accused of causing this crash, he was out on a $100,000 bond set by a Mecklenburg County judge in a felony case. He was also facing an active arrest warrant in a different breaking and entering felony case. That warrant had been active for 10 days at the time of the crash. Now I've been asking today Charlotte Mecklenburg Police, why hadn't they executed that warrant? Why was he still free? Why was that arrest warrant 10 days old? They told me they don't have answers for me at this moment today. It was on this quiet side.
Wow. I mean, that's what's going on right now. This is a major problem. It's the people that are repeat offenders. I assume the Losies were salty about Trump's toy boat comment. Probably. Dude looks white to you? Probably. Gundam says, when I moved to Virginia, most of the public work crews and landscapers in my area were black with some crackers as bosses. 10-ish years later, and lucky if a supervisor speaks better than Pigeon. Truck broke down, had to walk back home. I'd like to sponsor the next hour. I know I have an expensive bill coming. Thanks for being here anyway. At least I can do, offer moral support. Well, I'm sorry about your truck. Okay, no problem. Tony, you're very generous, but if you can't, I don't want you to do anything you can't afford. If you got a big, bill coming with your truck, you need to take care of that. Don't worry about me. I mean, I'm going to be on a little bit longer, maybe another 10 minutes or so. Leftists used cover of the No Kings protest to launch a violent direct action on the ICE facility. This action was planned days after the young woman was killed in Chicago by an illegal alien.
Move to the side. Move to the side. Move to the side. Move to the side. Move.
He's going!
Yeah, he's going. He shouldn't have been out here anyway.
And he's on a violation. Pre-trial release. You a violation? I thought we arrested you.
I am requesting your names and badge numbers. You are required to give your names and badge numbers upon request. I am requesting names and badge numbers. Get out the street. Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Wow.
Grab the camera. Grab the camera. Hey, move. What the fuck are you doing? Hey, shake. You keep changing where you're telling us to be. You know what you're telling us to be. We're going to go calm down.
is just ridiculous shit.
Why are you guys doing this? What is she doing?
Why are you doing this? Because you're breaking the law, assholes. We got this. Look at this. An unhinged liberal student at the University of AVL, UNC AVL. Is that University of University of, I don't know what school is this. Is this North Carolina? UNC AVL. Watch. Students for Life, UNC Asheville. Look at this crap. Look at this crap.
I don't care. I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you.
That's mean.
I know, but I fucking hate you. I don't care.
That's
I
okay.
fucking hate you.
I already asked you
Y'all
to
the
leave,
people
and
who
I
are
will
spreading
call
propaganda, letting the rise of fucking fascism and
No,
putting women down.
that's not
Yes,
what
what
we're
it is.
doing.
No, that's what it is. Get out of here. Yeah, get out of here. Keep walking.
I hope that person gets arrested because that's ridiculous. Got this. Look at Brandon Johnson. Days after an illegal alien was charged for murdering a young American woman in America. We have to end the assaults against immigrants. So illegal aliens are killing Americans, and he says stop the assault on immigrants.
Tell me why you wanted to come out and what's your message for the community here?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. We have to end the assaults against working people. We have to end the assaults against immigrants.
Tell me why you wanted to come out and what's
Wow. That's crazy. That's just crazy. Wow. That's just crazy. We got this story right here. J.D. Vance drops a bombshell. Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud, confirms the White House fraud task force is going after her. Vance confirmed his belief that Omar definitely committed immigration fraud. And we actually think Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States. VP added that the task force, which he leads, is working with senior Trump advisor Stephen Miller to determine the legal remedies available now that the fraud has been identified. Yeah, so much for the tolerance of the left. Yeah, they're not tolerant at all. Let's see.
Talk about Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz.
Exactly.
And obviously, Ilhan Omar, the president and the White House have been out saying that she married her brother, that there is immigration fraud going on here. These are deportable denaturalization offenses. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, so we actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America. And I talked to Stephen Miller about this actually recently. We're trying to look at what the remedies are. That's the thing that we're trying to figure out is what are the legal remedies now that we know that she's committed immigration fraud? How do you go after her? How do you investigate her? How do you actually do the thing? How do you build the case necessary to get some justice for the American people? There's a related issue, Benny, which is she has been at the center of a lot of the worst fraudsters in the Somalian community. So do I know that Ilhan Omar was aware that the Quality Leering Center was defrauding the American people? I'm not certain of it, but we at least need to investigate it, because if people can commit wrongdoing without even the fear that they're going to be found out, that's a fundamental problem. So I'm worried about the immigration fraud. I'm also worried about what did Ilhan Omar know about what was happening in the Somali community, and why was nobody looking into it until, frankly, Donald Trump came along.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Why was nobody looking into it until Donald Trump came along? The comments just comes weeks after Trump signed an executive order creating this the task force on fraud. Omar, who was born in Somalia and became a citizen in 2000, is alleged to have entered a sham marriage with her biological brother, Ahmed Nur Saad Elmi, in 2009 to help him obtain citizenship. In February, the Gateway Pundit previously reported Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Harmeet Dillon also discussed the alleged fraud while speaking to Johnson. During the interview, Dillon stated, "It's a truism of immigration law that if you commit fraud in the course of obtaining your citizenship, if you lie about your marriage status on which your citizenship depends, or your familial status, or what you have, if you fake any of those documents or you lie, that's grounds for denaturalization." And so I think it's been credibly alleged that there are very serious questions about the circumstances of the paperwork around that naturalization. I'll just leave it at that. Additionally, the Justice Department has been investigating Omar's finances, including a dramatic increase in her net worth since entering Congress. Trump announced the investigation in January as part of a broader fraud probes into Minnesota's Somali community. Joe says, "JD, I bet you won't do crap about it." And he says, "It's whites' fault, allowing all this crap, name a minority-ran country that's free and a place you want to visit or live in." Yeah, I don't disagree with you. In a post on Truth Social on January 26th, the president wrote that a major investigation is going on with respect to the massive $20 billion plus welfare fraud that has taken place in Minnesota, and it is at least partially responsible for the violent organized protests going on in the street. Additionally, the DOJ and Congress are looking at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing and is now reportedly worth $44 million. Time will tell all. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Omar has long denied all allegations, claiming they are politically motivated attacks. Same thing from the Washington Post. VP Vance claims Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud by marrying her brother. I think that would definitely be immigration fraud if you marry your brother. We actually think she did. It's rich coming from her. She literally creates stories to redirect the media to Omar's chief of staff. Same thing from Real Clear Politics. And then we got this story. Iran vows retaliation after alleged Israeli strike on key sites. That's why his brother's in England. She should be denaturalized. Yes, that's what I think so too. Definitely. There was a report the other day about the denaturalization of that 4 people were denaturalized for some fraud stuff. Bomb away, the Arab world isn't objecting. Oh, let's see this.
A deal by the end of this month, which I believe is next week. All right, a couple more things. The bombing campaign is underway still, and while it does look like these are mostly objects, we did get a big guy, the head of the Navy. This man has been taken out. He is no longer. What's interesting, the Arab world, and these are people who for a long time did not like the United States very much. You know what their message is? There's a little bit of grumbling, but bottom line, what do they want? Keep this up. Keep bombing. They are on our side. They have had their own problems with Iran. They don't want Iran having those weapons. It's kind of awesome that they are on our side. I love it.
Oh, cool. Iran's foreign minister on Friday accused Israel of carrying out a series of strikes on critical infrastructure inside Iran, including major industrial nuclear facilities. He warned that Tehran would pose a heavy price in response. In a post on X, the foreign minister, Sayed Abbas al-Galachi, said Israel forces targeted 2 of Iran's largest steel factories, a power plant, and what he described as civilian nuclear sites, along with other infrastructure. Well, all your nuclear sites are not civilian. You have dual use. You're using them for your nuclear program. So it's difficult terrain and no Afghanistan again. Yes, we all know. Says, let me expand on that. The white liberal and some conservatives with the it's the right thing to do crap let in the people who are only here to get resources and not contribute a thing. Yes, I agree. He did not specify the locations of the alleged attacks or provide details on the casualties or extent of the damage. Israel has not publicly confirmed the strikes. However, according to Aragachi, Domo Oragachi, Mr. Roboto, Domo. Israeli officials have claimed that the operation was conducted in coordination with the United States, an assertion that, if verified, could significantly escalate tensions across the region. The U.S. has not immediately responded to the allegations. Domo Orogato, Mr. Aragachi, said that the report's strikes contradict a diplomatic timeline recently extended by the U.S. president, who had signaled additional time for negotiations aimed at de-escalating tensions with Iran. Have I been drinking, or have you? Spoiler me. 1v2 game, 25% of those actually white. They fall within the gray area, aka 3. Yes, what's good for you is good for me, which never should be a conversation. The attack contradicts the extended deadline for diplomacy. Iran has repeatedly warned it would respond to any direct attacks on its territory or strategic assets. Aragachi reiterated the stance Friday, stating that Israel would face consequences that he called crimes. Iran will exact a heavy price. C-130s do not care about terrain. The artillery and ordnance can rewrite that terrain. Did you know that illegals or illegals don't have to register for selective service, yet are eligible for all the benefits? But if I didn't, I could have been punished all the way to prison? Oh, I know. It's ridiculous. And that's why their kids are not U.S. citizens, because their parents are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. If you do not have to register for selective service, you are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. That ruling is going to come down, and I think it's going to change a lot. I think they're going to say, yeah, Wong Kim Ark, it said you are a lawful permanent residence, which would mean you are subject to jurisdiction in the U.S. Israel has previously conducted covert and overt operations targeting Iranian facilities and personnel, arguing that such actions are necessary to prevent Tehran from developing nuclear weapons. Iran maintains that its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes. No, it's not. Can't wait for that ruling. Me too. It's got to happen. There's no independent confirmation of reported strikes as of Friday, and details remain limited. So this could just be Iran talking shit Could just be Iran talking shit. There is this story which says that there was 12 Americans wounded in an Iranian missile drone attack on a U.S. military base in Saudi Arabia. This is not the Kuwaiti stuff. This is, here's Tiger Woods, not out of the woods yet. 50-year-old golf legend was released from a Florida prison after being booked on DUI charges. So 12 U.S. service members were reportedly injured in an Iranian missile and drone attack on a military base in Saudi Arabia. This is Prince Sultan's Air Base, the largest air base in the Middle East. C-130 and A-10s flocked the mountains. 2 of the wounded service members are considered to be seriously wounded. At least one Iranian missile and several drones struck U.S. Prince Sultan's Air Base, the officials said. The wounded troops were inside the building that was hit. Multiple U.S. refueling aircraft were also damaged in the attack. At least one KC-135 air refueling plane was hit, reportedly caught fire. U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, did not immediately respond to a post request for comment. Prince Sultan Airspace, just south of Saudi capital city of Riyadh, was previously hit by an Iranian missile earlier in the war. Tehran has been firing missiles and launching drones at Israel and Gulf states since the start of the conflict. However, U.S. military officials maintain Iran's drone and missile launch rates are down more than 90%. Since the start of Operation Epic Fury on February 28th, about 303 U.S. service members have been wounded and at least 13 have been killed. The vast majority of these injuries have been minor, Navy Captain Tim Hawkins said Friday, and 273 troops have returned to duty. So that's that story about that. And then we have this. It says, Vance says the greatest challenge is going to be making peace with Iran. J.D. Vance is preparing to take on the most important assignment of his career, steering U.S. efforts to end the war. Let slip the dogs of war, holding them back increases the risks. Yes, Jim, correct. Yet for decades the rule is born here, automatic citizen. What kind of crap is that? Well, that's the rule. That's the rules because they misinterpreted the ruling in Wong Kim Ark. The ruling in Wong Kim Ark said his parents were lawful permanent residents, which today would mean they had green cards. That's what a green card is. A lawful permanent resident is a green card holder. So if you're a green card holder and you have a kid here, according to Wong Kim Ark, which even if the Supreme Court says that case was decided correctly, that would mean the only time you're a citizen is because they didn't say, no, their parents were here in the U.S. And so you're automatically a citizen. That wasn't the ruling. The ruling was his parents were lawful permanent residents. So he was a citizen, which is a green card. So that's why it's gonna change. And honestly, I mean, they're not trying to go back and say these people aren't citizens, which I think they should. They should say if you're not a citizen, you're not a citizen. The GOP are cowards and they're complicit in wanting the illegals in the country. That's why no one challenged the law sooner. Yeah, exactly. Vance has already placed multiple calls with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, met Gulf allies about the war, and been involved in indirect communication with the Iranians. He expected to be the top U.S. negotiator in potential peace talks. What year was that ruling? Wong Kim Ark was in like 1907 or something like that, or 1910. It was a lot of counterfeit green cards out there. Yeah. Vance was highly skeptical of Israel's rosy pre-war assessment of how the war could unfold and currently expects the war to continue for another few weeks. Vance advisors think some in Israel are trying to undermine the VP, possibly because they find him insufficiently hawkish. President Trump made Vance's role official in a cabinet meeting on Thursday, asking the VP to give an update on Iran and noting that he was working with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner on negotiations. Zoom in. Vance's seniority in the administration and well-documented opposition to open-ended conflicts overseas. The White House officials say make him a more attractive interlocutor for the Iranians than Witkoff and Kushner, who oversaw the 2 previous rounds of failed talks. Partly for those reasons, Witkoff recommended Vance as a lead negotiator. He says, Pat Hacker says, 1898? Was that ruling in 1898? I thought it was like early 1900s. So Joe says he was offered one in Miami in the late 80s. I showed him my beautiful U.S. passport. The situation outside of Portland, Oregon ice is getting interesting. I can look, let's see. I don't see anything that interesting. I just looked. I don't see anything really happening. I don't really see anything happening there at the moment. $6 billion. Thank you and all. I think I have my own public school education. I have a Chicago public school education, which was actually at the time a very good education. I went to a computer technical high school, which means they had some trash 80s. If Iranians can't strike a deal with Vance, they don't get a deal. He's the best they're going to get. And White House officials sought to tamp down the speculation, saying that Witkoff and Kushner are still working their lines, and if the VP is ready to play his part, if negotiations ripen, but we aren't there yet, and Iranians need to decide if and how they want to come to the table. On Thursday, Trump extended his deadline for negotiations with Iran as Pakistani, Egyptian, and Turkish mediators keep trying to organize in-person talks. Iranian officials told the mediators they're still waiting for a green light from top leadership if such a summit happens. Vance can sit across the table from Iran Speaker of Parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf. 286s. Jim, in my city, there was a car chase over 100 miles an hour. The dude, they didn't disclose his name, had been arrested 98 times, living in a dark blue state. City sucks and it's dangerous. It's horrible. It really is. It's horrible. It really is, man. Administration officials suspect foreign agents of spreading the word that Iran wants to negotiate with Vance. Vance advisor Andrew Surabian said on X that a CNN report to the effect of evidence of a coordinated foreign propaganda op. Surabian didn't say it was Israel. An administration official told Axios, referring to the narrative that Iranians see Vance as inclined to cut a deal and get out, it's an Israeli op against JD. There's no evidence of such an Israeli operation. Well, I mean, they'd be pretty good at hiding it, wouldn't they? White House officials started suspecting that some in the Israeli government were trying to smear Vance after a difficult phone call Monday between Netanyahu and Vance. In the call, Vance mentioned that several of Netanyahu's predictions about the war had proved far too optimistic, particularly when it came to the prospects of a popular uprising to topple the regime, according to an Israeli source and U.S. source. Before the war, Bibi really sold it to the president as being easy, a regime change being a lot likelier than it was, and the VP was clear-eyed about some of those statements. The day after the call, the right-wing Israeli newspaper owned by GOP mega-donor Miriam Adelson reported that Vance had yelled at Netanyahu over the issue of settler violence against Palestinians in the West Bank. Multiple U.S. and Israeli sources say the story was erroneous, and Vance advisors suspected it was leaked by the Israeli side. An Israeli official denied Netanyahu planted the story and said his office had actually denied it when approached by reporters. An Israeli embassy in Washington declined to comment. Inside the room, Vance met Wednesday with a delegation of senior Emirati officials and on Thursday with Prime Minister of Qatar. Both meetings focused on the war and talks with Iran and military assistance to the two Gulf allies. Yes. If Dems get the Oval, Jim and other podcasters will be stopped and even prosecuted. People have short memories and bitch about Trump. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can imagine me getting kicked off YouTube if when they come back in power, that they'll say I'm too controversial because I just report what I read, and have my own opinions. Vance has been extensively involved in diplomacy with Iran, both before the war and the last few days. During the indirect exchange of messages with Iranians, the White House floated the possibility of Vance leading the U.S. delegation for high-level peace talks. The White House asked the Pakistani, Egyptian, and Turkish mediators to tell the Iranians that their willingness to have Vance lead the talks was proof that Trump was serious. Vance also chaired several National Security Council meetings on military options for Iran between the protests that began last December and the onset of war, U.S. officials say. Between the lines, during the lead up to the war, Vance was one of the more skeptical internal voices, raising questions about its duration, proposed purpose, and impact on U.S. munitions stockpiles. Once Trump decided to go to war, though, Vance advocated for using overwhelming force to achieve victory as quick as possible. Vance advisors say he's supportive of Israel, but is concerned about potential gaps between the U.S. and Israeli objectives as the war continues. As an Iraq War veteran, Vance told the Washington Post 2 days before the bombs dropped, I do think we have to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. I also think that we have to avoid overlearning the lessons of the past. The bottom line, he has his own views, but he is going to work with the Trump instructions and try to achieve an outcome the president likes. So that's very interesting, right? I think so. I think that's very interesting. All right. Let me see real quick. Let me do a quick check to make sure that, let's see who's live. All right, it looks like, I don't know, Pat Dixon is going to be live, so maybe I'll send you over there. I don't know where we're going to go on Rumble, but I'd like to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody who's here tonight. Please remember to hit the like button. Please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, and hit the notification so you get notified. I share Vance's skepticism. So do I. But that's why you got to go hard, though. You got to go hard and fast. Try to knock it out fast. I want to thank everybody who's here. I don't know if there'll be a show tomorrow, Sunday night. There might be. It all is going to depend on what's going on with my grandkids. And Sunday, Mondays are a weird night for me. I'll try to do one night at least. I want once again thank everybody for being here. Please remember to hit the like button. Please subscribe. And please come back for Jim to tell you the news.